Hey guys, happy Sunday! I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day. And also, a hello to everybody who celebrated the Lunar New Year as kicked off yesterday, everybody who was celebrating the Mayan New Year that actually took place a few days ago, and all the good stuff that is cooked up for us this week. Some people celebrating Family Day, or also known as Valentine's Day. We have Pons Day or Pans Day coming up. We have so much good stuff. Plus, we're still in the vibes of that new moon in Aquarius. So, anyway, how are you guys? If you guys don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out that information box down below. You can check out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. You could also check out my shop that I own with James over at Light of Riga on Etsy, Desert Cauldron. Also, check out all the other things that are down there. Maybe signing up for the newsletter that I send out once a month, and I only send out things once a month. That's all. Maybe checking out that KW Tribe here on YouTube or my Patreon homies. And speaking of those homies, I want to say hello to my YouTube members. So Lisa and Kayla, hello, love you guys. Jamie, also our friends over on Patreon, Myrna and Karen, Lily, Liesel, Heather, Dana, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, Brian. Mwah! Love you guys so much. All right, so I decided to film on the porch today because, well, we got a little bit of a dusting of snow yesterday, and although it's not like super snow out there, I feel like my feet would freeze on the cold, hard ground. So I'm on the porch where my feet won't freeze and where I can wear my slippies. So, so that's what I'm doing here on the porch. But anyway, you can see probably the birds flying around Anna's tree back there. Anna is our Danette friend who, well, we found her gravesite actually. So she's actually buried with her family by that tree. So it's Anna's tree. And you could see our power that we got cooking over there with our awesome solar panels and all the beautiful rocks that we find on our journeys. We just like them to charge up here in the sun and help charge our little cabin here. So anyway, hello, you guys. How's everybody doing? Let me go back and see what's shaking. Um, Susie's here. Hello. Lisa, what's up? And Lilith is here. Says Happy New Year of the Wood Dragon and Super Bowl Sunday. Go Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, yeah. Today is the Super Bowl, I guess. All right, for you Super Bowl fans out there, I hope you are having a great day. Butterfly is here. What's up, girl? Peg, whoop, whoop. And Lois, Terry, can you please pray for Paula? Not only has she been sick for months, last week she lost her brother, Mike. Oh my goodness. Definitely. I have been doing a lot of altar work lately. So when I do my intentions and my prayers later on today, I will make sure to include Paula and her family as well, as they are probably in an unusual state, I would say right now, especially with the loss of someone. So definitely, I will. Lisa said, hey peeps, I found all my notes on reading gypsy cards with playing cards, drew for us all, Queen of Clubs, tall, attractive, confident woman with dark hair. Wow. Lila said, without Paula, I wouldn't be where I am now. As soon as we're able, we're bringing back the triple daughters. That's excellent. Love it. All right. Well, this group always has tons of good vibes. So I'm sure we're going to be able to pump out those good vibes wherever we intend it to go today. Susie says that what Lisa pulled sounds like me. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I brought a little dragon friend with us today because of the Lunar New Year and the year of the wood dragon. And actually, this is like one of those 3D printed dragons. This is actually made out of silk. And I had gotten this for James's, was it birthday? Yeah, I got it for his birthday. So I just love this guy, and maybe I play with it more than he does. But I don't know, it's very tactile, you know, he kind of hangs on everything. But hello, he's wishing you all a happy Lunar New Year. And so we are going to be able to make our spread today, our Lunar New Year spread. So it'll be questions that you guys come up with, you know, a certain number of questions. Maybe we'll even put it into the shape of a dragon if you guys wish. Yeah, and then we'll pull cards on the spread that you guys create. But I love doing like group chat spreads. I think those are great than just having one person come up with all the questions. I love the varied types of questions that you guys have. So we'll do our weekly reading first, and then we will create our Year of the Dragon spread with the help of you guys. And then we'll go into super chats and super stickers. If you guys don't know what that is, I do one card draws kind of towards the end of the chat for anybody, you know, who has a burning question, or they just want a general message or a message from the higher self or whatever it may be. I'll be happy to pull a card for you through super chats and super stickers, which is a little donation. And then afterwards we have our channeled, guided meditation. So yay, I'm so excited. So I'm gonna put this little guy back on my shoulders. Actually, it is kind of warm here in the sun. That's a good thing. I'd rather be warm than cold. Let's see. Everyone's like, yay. Lilith said, also, today marks 1 month I've been in this homeless shelter nursing home, and I pleasantly found out one of the nurses is pagan Wiccan. Her name is Prudence, like the original charm. Yay! I'm so glad you are making friends over there. I'm so glad it is a wonderful place for you, you know, and your next step on your journey, the next chapter, as they say. Okay, I actually have a special tea. I posted it on Desert Cauldron's Instagram. So if you guys want to follow Desert Cauldron on Instagram, it's at desert.cauldron. And I showed off a tea that I made specifically for the Lunar New Year, the Year of the Dragon. And I used butterfly pea flower. Not butterfly love child, but butterfly pea flower. I used Egyptian lotus, jasmine, and vanilla bean. And it turns your tea a beautiful blue color, like it's a indigo blue. So if I had a clear glass, you guys might actually be able to see it, but I don't think you can see it on camera. But I tried to use like one of my clear mugs yesterday just so I could see the blue color. James is like, do you know this tea is blue? Are we going to turn blue? Like, it's fine. Sometimes butterfly pea flower is known as blue tea, or was it blue flower tea, blue moon tea, like because it does turn it a very, very bright shade of indigo blue. It's also used as a dye, actually, for clothes and things like that, but it has a wonderful taste. And I love the properties here. All of them are like moon properties because I was going with the lunar theme. But also they're very feminine. And although I know that the dragon is very masculine energy, it's a very action-oriented energy, maybe not as much as like a fire dragon, but this wood dragon being very stable, very earthy, I was kind of feeling earthy, at least with a couple of the herbs, like the the vanilla bean and the butterfly pea flower. However, with the jasmine and the lotus, I was feeling the watery vibes. And so just kind of put that all together. If people would like me to make them a personal batch, we do sell teas in our shop. So I don't have it listed in the shop, but I can make you a little bag of it, which would have about roughly, depending on how much tea you put in your mugs, because you got to spoon it out yourself. I would say about 20 plus servings of tea. And we usually sell them for about $4.50 for, you know, a little bag of it. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I'd be more than happy to put together a brew like this for you. So I forget to mention that I make teas for people. I'm like, oh yeah, if you wanted a tea, let me know. So, but I will say it tastes divine, divine, divine. All right, I'm gonna let that continue to steep so I can really get the vanilla bean, because it is actually raw vanilla bean. So I just kind of snip off the bean and put a little bit in there, and it takes a little while for the I guess for it to incorporate itself into the hot water. So anyway, let's see here. KDS workers here. Oh, she says she just got a pink dambarite crystal point from San Luis Potosi, Mexico. Yes, yes. Yeah, she said happy Sunday out because she got her first crystal today. I'm so excited. She did get it from James's shop. I remember when he was like, hey, your friend KDS worker just got a crystal from my shop. I was like, I mean, and for pink, like to get pink dambarite, that's I wouldn't say I have like a favorite crystal because I think all crystals have like their different unique energies and properties. You know, it's like us. We all have our different personalities and different aspects of ourselves. I wouldn't say that I have a favorite part of myself. Um, but pink dambarite, I would say, is one I like to have around most often. So we'll just say that it's the one I like to have around most often. I like to wear it. I like to meditate with it. I like to look at it. I like to, just incorporate it into my readings. I don't know, I really like the energy of it. It's super high vibe. It's like if quartz, like if rose quartz got mashed with, let's see, like Lemurian and like, I don't know, what would this all be a mashing of? I'm trying to think of like my highest vibes. Um, I don't know, like maybe the highest vibe crystals, maybe even a little bit of moldavite. I think if you put it all together, that creates pink dambarite. So it's intense, but in the most loving way possible. I dig it. um, let's see. Lisa's saying, hey, hey to everyone. Susie said, beautiful. Yay. All right. So let me have a little sip of tea. And if you guys want to go ahead and grab your decks, you could grab your runes, pendulum. You could just grab your intuition, post some good old downloads. Let's do our weekly reading first. And then we will go into creating a year of the dragon spread, which I'm so excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. Okay, okay. All right. Let's see. Let me put this over here. Of course, I got to pull from Wallys World. So, what deck do I want to use? First of all, let me show you the decks that I'm working with like right now because of the energies of right now. So back on February 7th, as if that was a long time ago, it was just a few days ago, we entered the year of 12 Gaban, according to the Maya. So the Maya don't have really a lunar calendar. Their Tolkien calendar is a more along the lines of Venus's orbit. So Venus is closely aligned with pregnancy, like it having 9 months. It's 260 plus some days is the orbit. And this is why it's been so prominent in many ancient cultures, is because it's one that's very visible in the sky. And, it's visible in eastern sky certain times of the year, sometimes in the western sky, sometimes it's behind the sun, it's from front of the sun. And so it seems very mystical and magical. And it's also why Venus is seen as a very divine feminine type energy, and why like the Romans and the Greeks and things like that, those ancient cultures believed it was connected to like love and creation and womanhood. And it's because of that symbiotic relationship between that like 9 month cycle, that 260 days basically to create a human being, was our feeling with that connection with that planet. And so the Tzolk'in calendar, which is the Mayan spiritual calendar, as they had two, they had the Heb and they had the Tzolk'in. The Heb calendar is like 265 closely, just like our Gregorian calendar. And that was considered like the everyday calendar, like the more physical world calendar, where the other one was to help them with their spirituality. And so in that spiritual calendar, we entered 12 Gaban. And I talked a little bit about it on Instagram through Desert Cauldron and through my channel as well, at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And Kaban is the year lord of knowledge, understanding, learning, intellect, whereas 12 is reflection, and taking into account everything that has occurred, both in society, the world, the collective consciousness, but also in your life, and kind of seeing where you want to go from here. And so the last time we had Kaban was 4 years ago, and so that was 2020. And that was another year of learning. And I think a year that it's most prominent, I think, in a lot of people's minds around the world. And so 2020 was 8 Kaban. So the number 8 signified community, connection, eternity, the whole world. So it meant the whole world was now going to get fast paced into some learning. it was time to get your learn on. It was time to understand yourself, your place in the world, how things work, why they work, why are certain things in my reality, or why certain things aren't in my reality. It's starting to see the polarity in people, in your own self, in your belief system. And so now that we've had 4 years to kind of sit on that, we come back around. Kaban is saying, okay, what have you learned? And how have you integrated it? What have you let go of? What have you brought into your life? How do you see your life moving forward? What do you want according to your spiritual journey? Where do you see yourself spiritually? Where do you see yourself in terms of your higher knowledge as it comes to your spiritual knowledge? Because there is a big difference between being the smartest person in the world in terms of logic and being the smartest person in the universe in terms of your higher self. Of course, there's no one smarter person, but that's kind of what it's trying to say is, how have you grown intellectually in a spiritual sense? And what are you going to do with that? What have been some of the growing pains? What shadows have come up for you in the past 4 years? What issues have come up for you? What grand things have occurred? Have you stepped out of your comfort zone? Basically, those questions is a time to really be asking yourself that. And with 12 Kaban, it wasn't just one day. It isn't like, yay, it was February 7th. All right, girl, I'm out. But we're incorporating that for a whole year. And the way they see their dates is they're not hard and fast rules. It's not, okay, it was, 7, or not 7, it was 11 Eb, and now we're in 12 Kaban. Like now it's, they see things as very fluid. So there's still remnants left over from the previous year, still seeping into this 12 Kaban energy. So it's like this primordial mix of awesomeness. And then as we move forward, we're going to go into next February, March-ish, because it's Venetian. So February, March-ish of next year will be at the end of a 13-year cycle. So it's not the end of the world. It's the end of the 13-year cycle. And that will be 13 Ich. And Ich is actually my year, Lord. It's the year of the hurricane, baby. It's the winds of change. And so we'll, for a time, at least several weeks, we'll be in that 13 Ich energy with the 12 Kaban energy, and just like mixing together. It's just going to be freaking, I'm here for the party. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, so that's the energy that's going on right now. Plus, many cultures around the world celebrating the Lunar New Year. So you mix that with some new moon energy, Lunar New Year, Mayan New Year. There's a lot of good stuff going on. That's all I gotta say. And so that's why I'm super stoked about doing this spread with you guys, and figuring out what questions you guys are gonna have. So, all right, let's see. Let's go back here. John says, I've been away too, looking looking long. Nice. Susie says, we missed you, John. We sure did. Welcome back, dude. John said, Venus is my fave. Katia says, how do you spell Caban? And Susie got that for her. Caban. And she says, gracias. Susie says, I took Tara's Mayan astrology class. She is an amazing Mayan astrologer. Highly recommend. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is, I do teach those classes. You can check them out on my website. I have classes. James has crystal courses that you could take. We have actually a few other teachers on the site as well for people that are into like making like self-love and love spells and just kind of like getting into that. We have Jonathan Daly, who works with past lives through using the tarot. We have our friend Will Brown, who looks at crystals more from a scientific standpoint, as well as mixing the metaphysical and how we can bridge the gap between the two. So a lot of wonderful teachers over there in case you guys are interested. Katie says, oh, great. I'm trying to increase my higher self knowledge. I've been academic for far too long. Nice. And she said, reclaiming gifts I had as a child. John said, still has that New Year smell. I know, right? Smells good. Susie said, that is so cool. Yes, it is the Leon Mystery School. I love me some lions, you know? All right, so let's see what WallE has, just kind of as a message for us this week. And I will pull some other cards. I'll show you what decks those are, because like I said, I got some special decks for this week. I have a few other decks that I have in the house, but I have the Shultun Tarot, which is a Mayan-based tarot. I also have the Jade Oracle, which is also Mayan. It's a Mayan Oracle. And yeah, I think those are the two I have in the house. Also working with the Jupiter Power Tarot by our friend Charlie Quintero. And then I have some of my other decks out here, and that's what I'm going to be utilizing with you guys today. So let me show you guys those right now. Okay. Lisa says, I drew the Joker for us. New development, taking a risk. Woo woo. I'm all about that, babies. Okay. So what we have today, we have the Kuan Yin Oracle. We have Wisdom of the Golden Path. We have Foxfire, the Katsuni Oracle. And then we have Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. So I don't know, I was just really feeling these decks for just kind of the energy surrounding this time. So yeah, I'm going to work with those. Oh, and one more, Chinese fortune reading cards. So I thought that would be fun. Okay, so let's see what WallE has for us. You know what? That's interesting. Okay, in my Wallys World deck, there are images from all over the world, and it's community based. So some of them are my images, some of them come from my family members, some of them come from you guys, friends of ours, and some are taken with film cameras, digital cameras, cell phones. It's just of their personal sacred spots, all these beautiful places. This place was a picture taken by me when I was in China. Isn't that interesting? This is actually taken in Beijing, and this is considered like the swan's wing. Everybody, well, a lot of the people in that area thought that on this lake here, that this looked like a swan's wing. And the lake itself is this beautiful emerald green color, almost green like jade. And speaking of jade, I've been wearing my jade bracelet that I got in China, actually. Not in Beijing. I got this, I think, in Suzhou. But yeah, I got to go to Shanghai. I went to Beijing. I went to Suzhou and Hangzhou. And this was back in 2009, I believe. And then we have a little WallE just kind of swimming in the water there. So let's see what he has to say about this week. Okay, so I'm feeling this like flowing, just kind of riding along, cruising type energy for this week, and asking us to have a higher perspective on how we're seeing things at a ground level. So making sure that, again, we're connecting to that higher self, through meditation, however you connect to your higher self. And how am I seeing my life right now? How am I seeing my situation? How am I seeing today? Or how am I seeing this interaction with this person? Am I seeing it through below the surface, like I'm underwater looking up, how things can sort of look like distorted and blurry? Or am I looking down into the water, which again, things could look a little distorted and blurry, but also it's easier to see our own reflection. So there is kind of a difference just depending on what side of the water you're on. Are you looking down into the water? Or are you looking up from the water this week? And just keeping in mind that perspective. And Having that type of perspective definitely makes it easier for us to understand why certain people come into our lives, why we have certain situations in our lives, whether we consider them to be positive or negative. Of course, we know that many beings outside of this realm look at things as just situations. They don't attribute good or bad or positive or negative, even though we as humans might say, well, of course, this was negative because X, Y, and Z. But those are all of our learned understandings. And so we apply that vocabulary, we apply our learned understandings to that situation to call it a bad situation or a good situation. But if we were just to look at it as just a situation, how am I looking at it? Am I below the surface looking up, or am I above the surface looking down? In which case, I also see my own reflection. And if I can see my own reflection in this situation, how does that change my perception? So, a little message for us this week. Thank you, WallE. Always coming in with the heavy hits. You know what? I also feel like for this week, I want to pull a card from the wisdom of the golden path. I've been feeling this gold energy, especially for the Gregorian New Year this year, 2024. I've just been feeling gold, 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 gold. um, let's see, let's go back here. Katia says, like your bracelet. Thank you. Kristen says, I needed to hear that. All right. So glad you guys are feeling helped by some of these messages. And again, if you guys are feeling called to have some downloads, definitely let us know what you guys are getting. We have our friend Lisa over there who's also slinging some cards, which I dig. Wow. I love the backs of these cards, you guys. So freaking beautiful. Okay, so let's see what Wisdom of the Golden Path has to say. Ooh, and we have new beginning. And actually, it goes along with what Liesl just said with the Joker card. It was taking a leap of faith, basically, taking risks. And when we take a risk or we take a leap of faith, that inevitably leads us into a new beginning, right? And it's not something new as in, like I have no orientation with this. I have no proprioception. It's new in that it challenges our ego. It challenges, our being. It challenges the higher self. And it could be a little scary at first. It could feel a little awkward, but something in there knows we're going to grow regardless. And at some point, everything was a new beginning to us. When we first started learning how to walk, that was a new beginning. It wasn't something that was completely foreign. It was something that we had the skill to do, but taking the leap of faith of actually enacting that, that was up to us. Do I want to continue crawling on the ground forever, or do I want to take a walk? Oh, interesting. The snow is starting to melt over here. I was like, what is leaking? Speaking of new beginning, the snow. So the snow is transforming itself right now in the sun, and it's becoming water. It's becoming a liquid again. It could decide, no, 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 I'm going to remain ice forever. I'm going to remain snow forever. It's too scary to become liquid, but it has the ability to be liquid. Liquid is what's inside of it. It is it. It's just in a different form. And so it's transmuting itself, it's changing itself, but it's still water, but it can experience the world differently now. Thank you, water, and thank you, snow, for helping us out with that one. So I love that. New beginnings this week. And definitely, if we can remember to take the advice of what WallE let us know, if we're looking at things from below the surface or above the surface, according to you and your path, which one is going to help you to take that leap of faith? Which one is going to help you try something that's just outside of your comfort zone? It's not something that's, again, not completely foreign to where you have absolutely no understanding, knowledge, or skill of. You have the skill, it's inside of you. It's just a way of looking at the world or doing things that you haven't tried before. So, we don't know all of our skills yet. I don't know all of my skills yet, whether they are my physical human vessel skills or my spiritual skills. I don't know all of them yet, just like, with you guys. So the only way we can know what they are is to try something new. you know, and maybe we might find we have a strength in there, or maybe there's a weakness in there that I can make a strength, but I wouldn't know if it was there or not unless I tried. So, new beginnings, you guys. Oops, where's my card? There we go. All right, new beginnings. All right, I can dig it. I can dig it. Okay, so let's put this aside. I have my paper here so I can write down our spread questions for our Year of the Dragon spread. Maybe I'll use the Wild Kuan Yin to write on here. Got my Banu pen for those of you that are in the fountain pen business. I like to use my bougie fountain pens. This is by Banu. Vodka on the Rocks is what it's called. I just love sparkles. I mean, I'm a little magpie at heart, so. All right. And I had one other thing to share with you guys. Give me just a moment here. Wow, it is getting rather warm in the sun. I like this. This is great. Have a little tea. Peg says, I've been feeling the gold vibe too. And she said, beautiful cards. Karen said, for perspective, I meditate like I'm standing at the space station. Cool. Susie said, love it. That's so cool. I like it. Oh yeah, that vanilla bean's starting to come in strong, mixing with the flowers. It's just, some of our friends may say it's the tits. It is. All right, I dig that. I dig that. Okay, so I have something to show you before we get into our Year of the Dragon spread. Actually, maybe I should take my jacket off. It's a little hot now. It's like 20 some degrees, but when you're in the sun, you feel like you're burning. James says it feels very much like La Paz, where he's been. His mom is from Bolivia, so he would know all about the extremeness in the temperatures and sun and shade. Okay. Oops. Where did you go, dragon friend? There you are. Okay. So I have inside my journal here something to share with you. And that is, I was speaking earlier about talking about the Mayan New Year. And as you know, I'm a Mayan astrologer, so I love to do up Mayan charts. And so I decided to do kind of like a fancy version of James's chart and my chart. And it's not really called a birth chart, it's called a destiny chart. So I have James's chart right here. And there's something called Flight of the Feathered Serpent. And then here's my chart. And then this lightning bolt you see is kind of like how the chart is read. So it's not read like this. It kind of goes in this lightning bolt fashion, which is considered Koyopa energy. Well, anyway, the Flight of the Feathered Serpent is considered like your birth month. And since it's connected to the Tzolk'in calendar and not the Gregorian calendar, it has really nothing to do with the actual like date of your Gregorian birth, although it kind of does. So as it cycles around 260 days, we come up with your Flight of the Feathered Serpent. So like the first day in that, and then it ending in the middle here, which would be your kind of like your birthday, I guess, but it's your day sign and your like day number. And so I have James's sign for Maluk. Guess what today is? It's for Maluk. So today is technically James's birthday, and he's like, do I get a cake? So technically, I guess I will be baking him something today to kind of celebrate it, but he's in the middle of celebrating his entire chart. So basically, this is how the chart comes alive. And so I would say about a week and some change ago, we started off with 3 men. And then a few days later, you know, we moved over here, and then we moved into this sign, and then we moved into this sign, and now we're in 4 Maluk. And then from this sign, we're going to be moving down into here, then we'll move up here, we'll move here, and then finally he's going to end his month at 5 Akbal. But interestingly enough, when he ends his birth chart, all these different aspects of him, all his different personality traits and strengths and weaknesses and shadow and light. When his chart ends, this is actually my sign. So I'm 5 Akba. And when I was putting our charts together, I thought this was crazy because, okay, today, his birthday, for Maluk, is the start of my birth chart. And so I am in the starting today is my birth month. So I am starting my flight of the feathered serpent today. So the essence of his energy, like who he is at his core for Maluk, is kind of me too. It's also aspects of my own energy. And I don't know if it's because we're twin flames or whatnot, but our charts mirror each other. So it's just so cool. I mean, look at here, he has on his right hand power, which basically is how he operates in the 3D world. He has 3 men, 11 akbal, 6 chuen. But I also have these aspects here, and they're all just in different orders. But basically, his chart is my chart, and my chart is his chart. We're just like flipped. It's almost like a mirror. So this is amazing to me. So I'm excited to celebrate today. So maybe I will make a cake because maybe I want some cake for my birth month. But what the Maya would do is not like to have a birthday celebration, where we got cake and ice cream and we sing some songs, we have some presents. It's not really about presents. What it is about honoring the energies that you were imbued with at your birth. And so for Maluk, if you're wondering what that is, James is known as the sign of karma, of fire and water. So seemingly two polar opposite energies, but you can put them together to create some wonderful change. And so although some people may see a Maluk person as being quite difficult, it's really what it is they see the world from a different angle. And he's stabilizing that sign actually with the number 4 here. And the number 4 represents stability. It's the 4 directions, it's the 4 seasons, it's, the 4 pillars of the earth, as they would say, that is being held up. It's, 4 stages of adulthood. So it's very stable type energy with Maluk's energy of working off karma, of being able to see things from both a light and a dark perspective, of being able to want to improve oneself over and over again. So this is somebody who doesn't stay stagnant. They constantly want to improve. They constantly want to see things from another perspective. And so this could be challenging for themselves and for the people around them, because if they're constantly trying to improve themselves, that means that you're constantly having to be out of your comfort zone. The thing that we were just talking about for this whole weekly reading is getting out of the comfort zone, and that's that Maluk energy. No surprise, because today literally is for Maluk. So this is how we're going into our week. And also, the ruler of his Thrasena on the year of his birth was 1 Kimi. We're also obviously in 1 Kimi this week, the leader of this week. And Kimi is the sign of forgiveness. And it's the sign of understanding, and understanding that we all have the ability to change, and that we shouldn't have one unique moment or one situation that defines our whole life, because we have a whole chapter. We have chapters upon chapters within this life. So to judge yourself or to judge someone else based on one thing that they've done, or a family that they were born into, or how they were raised, or a job that you held, judgment should not be placed on that, because we all have the ability to grow and to change. We're ever evolving, and that's what Maluk reminds us of. And so here we are, and here I am starting this, and 4 Maluk is actually on my right hand power. So this is how I would say this is how I operate in the 3rd dimension. This is how I operate in the physical world. And I would say that that's pretty accurate because I've had so many life changes. It's like my life is never just, cruising right along and, always the same old, same old. I'm still the same old me, hanging around the same old people. I've had such major tower moments. But for me, I enjoy the tower. I mean, I'm learning to enjoy the tower. I didn't enjoy it so much when I was younger, but I didn't quite understand it until now. but that's what that is. Like I'm constantly, I have to evolve because it's like, okay, now you're thrust into this situation. What are you going to do, chica? And I'm like, okay. Or, okay, these people aren't in your life anymore, but now you got these people in your life. What are you going to do now? And so for me, that's kind of how I operate is I constantly need that change in my life because it helps me to change, because either I adapt, I have to physically change myself, or I'm going to make it really hard on myself. So I just kind of wanted to show that to you guys. I'm also like, I did a little drawing and I was having fun. So anyway, I just wanted to share that since it is today, and today being a special day for James, and I mean technically a special month, but also it's the start of my chart. So anyway, um, and yeah, like Susie said, I do teach Mayan astrology if you guys are interested, but I also do Mayan destiny charts, aka Mayan birth charts, and I have those on my website too. If you would like me to do up a chart for you, just like that. Alrighty, so let's go back and look at your comments. Susie says, that tree behind you is giving off beautiful strength energy to me. Dude, I love the tree back there. I love Anna's tree. Katia says, you're like the snow, transmuting. I know, right? And Susie says, Terry's such a wonderful artist too. Oh, well, thank you. And people are doing a little happy birthday to James. And Susie says, it was meant to be, you and James. I think so. KDS says, is this Mayan calendar aspects? Yes, it's different aspects of us. And so when, like, let's say you are born in Guatemala, because they even do this today. So this isn't like some ancient thing that nobody really does anymore, except a few people. But there are different parts of Guatemala, especially the highlands of Guatemala, where they will, once a baby is born, a mother and father will contact, we would say shaman, but it's basically a reader of Mayan astrology, and say, okay, we need you to do up a birth chart for our kid, a destiny chart. The astrologer creates the destiny chart, and there's also a lot of intuition put into it and a lot of divination as well. And they would use tsetse seeds, but tsetse seeds are banned here in the United States, so I can't really get any. But I just use different divinatory tools. And so the parents will be able to see the shadow and light in their child, their strengths and weaknesses. They will be able to see all the different personality aspects that their child could have, because the child's going to have free will, right? So the child's going to be able to choose what aspects they want to become. We inadvertently do that when we're kids. But at least the parents will have an idea of like how their child could be. And then them as parents, what their job is to do is to help nurture those different aspects in their child, help to nurture the strengths, help to nurture the weaknesses. And if they see that their child is being rather difficult, that it's only being difficult because here's their aspect here, here, and here. How are you going to nurture that? How are you going to help them with that? And so that's the parent's job then. And so that way they have a better understanding of their kid as their own unique person, and not somebody that you need to mold into the shape of yourself. Like, well, your dad did this, so you're going to do this now too. Or, well, your mom always used to do this, so now you're going to do this too. So it's meant to help stop some of the cyclical traits that are passed down subconsciously, I guess, from parent to child. It's like, well, this is how we always do things, so now this is how you always do things. Instead, this is a whole and complete human being that is separate from you. Yes, they carry your genetics, and yes, they may have certain attributes that are very similar to yours, but they're not a mini you. They are a whole, complete, different soul. How are you going to nurture that soul in order to help them on their life's journey? And I think that is a beautiful act of love. So, all right, let's go back here. Some snow just blew by. Angela said, blessings, Tara, Susie, and the whole chat today. Love and light. I hope you're having an angel-tastic dragon vibe today. Amen. Yes, yes. Caitlin says, sorry guys, someone blocked my Lilith channel. Oh no. Well, you know what? YouTube's been cray-cray because I think there is another like live chat, like it double posted the live chat. So there's a live chat that's like, I'm not on the chat right now, but I am on the chat right now. So, so I'm gonna get on my desktop later after this and see if I can delete that second like ghost chat that's going on. So I don't know who's over there, but I'm not there. Karen said, Malik energy, is this similar to Italian Maluk? James's sign today was Maluk energy, which is Muluc. But there is also Manique energy, which was a couple of days ago. Manique energy, not familiar with the Italian aspect that you're saying, but um, Manique was seen as, how do I want to say, law and order as it pertains to polarity. So it's shadow and light, it's yin, it's yang, it's black, it's white. Basically, it's being able to have that spiritual authority and spiritual awareness, I guess, conscious awareness to see the light and dark in all things. That's Manique energy. Also can be a very difficult energy, but he has it balanced with the number 2. So he has that dualistic nature with it, which is pretty awesome. I mean, because it is already like a dualistic sign. Angela's saying hugs. Caitlin's saying hello to Angela. Angela says, I was reading my really big book of angel lore, the Book of Angels, this morning, and I got to my favorite page about Archangel Raphael and how he said to turn into this big gold dragon. Ooh, to walk the road to a dangerous realm is part of his worth. It's it's wow. She said, Aurora, bless you and hug you. Heart vibes. Susie says, Terry is such a powerful soul. We love you. I love you guys too. You're all powerful souls. I'm you. You are me. Caitlin says, it seems I'm not welcome here because my Lilith account was blocked. You are always welcome here. I can guarantee you, I did not block you. I'm pretty sure YouTube is janky at the moment. I mean, really janky. There are comments that people's comments like disappear, like off my videos and things like that. It's like they'll be like, I commented on your video. I'm like, I don't see it. Like I never erase people's comments from my videos. Angela says, I don't know what's wrong or been going on, but I still feel you're welcome. Please don't be sad. Yes, yes. Angela says, hugs and blessings to everyone on this magical day. I manifest the whole chat. Cake, treat yourself. Everyone deserves love today. Yes. Aurora said, I need to do what's best for me, and I can't feed the ego of someone who can't keep their word to me. All right. So, yes, definitely. I mean, whatever it is going on today, you guys, with ourselves, with other people, with situations, we definitely have to look at everything going on in our lives from that higher perspective because, our egos, my ego was trying to trip up yesterday. But you know what? That's what it does. And when our egos trip up, it's merely just trying to show us places in our lives where we need healing. So if we feel, let's say, hurt by someone, or we feel we need to hurt someone, or I feel upset about a situation, or I feel like I need to upset this situation, it's kind of like what we were learning about for the weekly reading. How am I looking at this? Am I looking at it from below the surface, looking up where things may be a little distorted, i.e., maybe our ego is helping us to kind of distort what we're seeing, or maybe we're looking down on it, in which case it may still look a little weird, but we also see our own reflection in the situation. So if we are having an issue with someone, how could I see my own self reflected in that person? Why is this person triggering me so? Or perhaps it's a situation that we've been in, like, when we grow up and we have certain childhood situations that stick with us. How can I see myself reflected in that situation, even if I feel like it was somebody hurting me or doing bad unto me? How can I see a little bit of myself in that? And if I can heal that aspect of myself, then I heal the past, then I heal the situation. Then the situation itself disappears because it no longer needs to be in your reality, or that person doesn't need to be in your reality anymore because they've taught you the lesson. Everybody here is teachers, really. I don't really see people as like good people and bad people, but really just teachers. And do I learn the lesson from them or do I not? Do I allow it to feed my ego and continue trauma cycles and, certain old narratives, or do I try to change it up, which might be that new beginnings thing. I try to try out something new, something or a perspective that I haven't looked at before, even if it's super uncomfortable. Because I guarantee you that if when I was a kid, and I was bullied as a child. Um, if I were to see myself in those bullies, I probably would have looked at the situation differently. And now in my healing, I can do that. But, just how much different things would be if we could see ourselves in the bully, if we could see ourselves in our parents, if we could see ourselves in our teachers, in animals, and things around us, things that we deem bad or evil, even the things that we deem good or light. If we can see ourselves in all of those things, we start to have more power in the driver's seat, so to speak, I would think, that we have more opportunity to make changes for ourselves instead of relying on other people to make changes for us. So I'm glad you brought that up because I think that that's a wonderful thing to talk about. And that's what I love about this chat is that people feel open enough to talk about some of the things that are going on with them or in your lives so that all of us from all of our different perspectives, of course, I have my own perspective, my own way of doing things because that's my healing journey. We have our various friends here. You guys all have different backgrounds, different belief systems, grew up in different parts of the world, different upbringings. So the way you heal and the way you look at things is also different and valuable. And I don't think any one way is better than the other. But I think it's great. And even sometimes when things can be rather uncomfortable, I think it's good for all of us because if there are things that make us uncomfortable, let's say somebody says something and it made me uncomfortable, um, I have to look at myself. Why did that make me uncomfortable? What is lurking within my healing process that is bringing this up for me? Why is this a part of my reality at the moment? And then that way I become empowered instead of a victim. And so that's just what I'm working on. I'm not saying I'm an ace at that. By the way, I'm so not an ace at it, but I am working on having that perspective more and more. So, all right, let's see. Let's go back here. Do, 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 do. Um, yes, definitely. Focusing on your own happiness, not worrying about others. Yes, not worrying about the external at all. John said, time is supposed to be a spiral, not a flat circle. Exactly. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Angela says, that's true. I hope everything will be okay for you soon. And Aurora says, it will be. She's always been a fighter. Yes. Angela said, hearts and hugs to everyone. It's almost unconditional love day, Valentine's Day. I love sending out love to improve that day for people. And it's also family day. So looking at our soul family, our physical families, our friend families, the families that we've created, all the different functions of family is also part of Valentine's Day. Angela says, whatever is going on, you all can make it through. I'm cheering for you. Love you. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Kayla, what's up, Chiquita? How are you? Let's see. Angela said, blessings, Kayla. Love that cat emoji. I love cat vibes. They are unapologetic, shameless, have good boundaries, and cuddly cute on their terms. Yes, yes. Everybody saying hello to Kayla. Angela said, sending you positivity for your situation, Caitlin. Well, Angela loves to send her positivity to everyone. Susie also talking about, yes, the bullies, refusing to be bullied by anyone anymore. And I will say, for the times that I've done these live chats, and I know that there are certain people, like some people, have been in my chats for a while, and then, people come and people go. That's just kind of the nature of things. I don't expect people to be like ride or die with my channel for like ever. But, some people have come in, some people have left. And for the people that have been, I would say, for a while with this channel, um, and there's like too many people to like name, but like to be able to see you guys grow, even in your comments, the ways in which you interact with each other. Many of you, I follow you on your social media as well, like your YouTube channels or your Instagram channels. It's just awesome to see how much you guys have changed, because then I get to look at myself too, like, how have I changed? So awesome. Let's see, let's go back here. Do, do, do. Whoa, oh, there we go. Ah, so Karen was saying that she is, and like I said, this is a wonderful place for us to just kind of like talk things out. She's saying that she's in her ego right now. Please stop. No loyalty conflict. Yes, definitely. This is not like when things come up for us, especially when we feel very hurt. Obviously, I've, been in situations where I felt like deeply hurt, especially by friends and things like that. But I think our reaction is to quickly gain friends on our side, so to speak. Like now that person is on that side and I'm on this side. My best friend is over here, but I'm over here and we're not friends anymore because of X, Y, and Z. But instead of looking at sides, we could look at why have I decided that my friend is over there now? Because my friend is also me, because we're all one, right? So what aspect of me am I pushing away? Am I rejecting? Am I feeling hurt by? Is this stemming from something else that occurred in my upbringing, even past lives too? um, and instead see it as a healing opportunity. And I know that sometimes it feels better when we're like, okay, yeah, that person was a bad person, and I'm a good person, and I'm not like saying, I'm not talking about anything about what was said or anything like that, but more like we put our perspective into bad person, I'm a person. If you did something that I consider bad or I deem bad or hurtful, I put you in this category over here. Um, and so instead of looking at like the things that were said, we're looking at the feelings. So, what are my feelings right now? What is coming up for me? And I thank this person over here that I pushed over here. I thank them for bringing up those feelings in me, because obviously there's things that are unhealed. And I'm hoping that the person over there, whatever it is that they're feeling, I hope that they learn from their emotions as well. So instead of seeing it as I need to run away or I'm hurt or something from this situation, I'm taking back my power in this situation. And in a powerful stance here, in this powerful situation, I'm going to learn from it. This person is going to be my teacher now. They're no longer my enemy, but my teacher. They're teaching me something about me, and I can grow me, and I have the ability to heal me. And this person over here, thank you, different aspect of me, showing me where I needed to heal. So again, it's like regardless of what the situation was or what was said, it's how can we help each other heal so that I no longer see people as my enemy, but as a catalyst for my own healing. And maybe they're no longer in our lives anymore. Maybe we push them away or whatever it may be, or maybe they just disappear from our reality. But we were able to get what we needed in terms of healing from them. Okay, let's see. Let's go back here. Do, 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 do. And that's something that I love about this group, is that, we, for whatever comes up, in whatever ways that we may be triggered or, the different points of view that we all have, I think that as long as we can keep ourselves open, that open perspective, that higher perspective, right? We may not agree with everything everybody says here. We may not agree with certain situations. Certain situations may trigger us, but if we have that open mind, that open consciousness, we can look at it more for our own healing and something that maybe we work on outside of the chat or maybe during the chat. I don't know. But that way, instead of closing ourselves off and saying, nope, nope, I don't agree. Nope, nope, I don't like this person. We open ourselves to healing, multiple points of view of healing, which I think is so much better than, sitting by ourselves trying to do our healing. If we can get all these different aspects and points of view and we can take that in and meditate on it later, I think that's freaking fantastic. So that's what I love. Okay. Whoa, okay. Well, I missed a bunch of comments. Sorry. Karen saying, not as smart as you all. I'm definitely trying to learn from you all. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put down your intelligence because remember, you are everyone. So it's just relearning or remembering aspects that maybe haven't you've forgotten about, but you can see it in others. So Susie says, Karen, you're extremely intelligent and gifted. Lisa, one love. Yep, yep. Angela says, yeah, I can't stand bullying. I can't stand troll vibes. I don't feed negativity. I try and transmute it. When I know life sucks, we can always get through. Yeah, exactly. Karen says, not with my higher self. I have so much to learn from you all. Well, your higher self knows all. Angela says, hugs, KDS. I'm glad you're here, and I think you're plenty smart and have a good heart. Lead with your heart, and you'll be fine. Exactly. Group hug, Susie. Angela wants to know, what is everyone's plans for Unconditional Love Day? That's a good question. Caitlin says, don't worry, Karen. I'm leaving, and I've always apologized when I misunderstood you. Okay, so some people are feeling bullied. So definitely something to remember. We look at our own reflection on that too. But of course, yes, I would say don't block your throat chakras, but express your feelings. So whether you're expressing it here, you're expressing it outwards, look at those feelings. What are those feelings trying to tell you at the deepest level? If somebody is feeling bullied, why? And how can I see myself in the person that I'm calling the bully? And I think that that's when the most tremendous healing takes place. And that's when we take back our power. Definitely take back your power. Kayla says, I'm doing good. Hope you are too. Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day out. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Angela's like, who's throwing snow? Is Spirit trying to start a snowball fight? I know, right? Like, I don't know where this snow is coming from, but it's like the trees are throwing snow our way. So maybe they're trying to get our attention. She says, also, how is there snow in Arizona? It feels like a miracle. Well, Arizona is not just a desert. We have different biomes kind of all over the state. And so we're up here in the mountains at over 6,500 feet where we do experience all four seasons. And so it is quite typical in the wintertime for it to snow here. In the summertime, it doesn't really get too hot. It doesn't do the triple digits that, let's say, down in the typical Arizona with the saguaro cactus and all the desert looking mesas and things like that. That's where you get like the extreme heats. That's where you see like the Arizona postcards and usually what people think of in Arizona. But Arizona's got these beautiful mountains, has these beautiful, just different areas that are very reminiscent of other states. Like there's parts here that James says is like Tahoe. There are people that would say that there are parts here that are kind of like Colorado or Utah. I mean, we have lakes around here and things like that. So I would say it's nice. This is where the Phoenicians, the Phoenix folks, come up usually in the summertime because it's a lot cooler here. But once it gets a little too cold for them, they're back down in the valley in Phoenix where it's a lot warmer in the wintertime than obviously it is here. I say, wussies, they can't handle the snow. Okay, let's see. Lisa says, you're awesome, babe. You guys are awesome. Edgar is here. Hello, hello, Edgar. Angela says, I'm bubbling all the negativity and popping the ego bubbles for the whole chat today. May all troublesome things in your lives be transmuted to something better. Pop, pop, negativity, go away with them. Ah. All right. So, Caitlin, I would say obviously there's a lot of heated energy right now. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of things coming up for you right now. I would say whatever is going on between you and your friend, um, definitely have a chat about it. You guys could probably have a chat about it after the chat. But for here, if you wanted here to be a place where you could grow and heal, I would say let's talk about the emotions that are coming up instead of what was said, what situation was happening. What are just your emotions that are coming up? And I know that there are so many wonderful people here that can pinpoint maybe why. I mean, we're all intuitive, right? We all have souls. We're all intuitive. So using that soul intuition, how could we help each other? So not only Caitlin to help you to heal and to see why these emotions are coming up for you, where are they actually stemming from, if not just the current situation, but situations very similar in the past. You could call on the people here to help you with that. But also for other people, they can get help from seeing your situation. I mean, there are probably people that have issues going on in their own lives, something very similar, and they could learn from you and from your healing. So if you're open to that healing, maybe we could talk about the emotions that are coming up, the feelings that are coming up, and how we can transmute those and help to heal those. So I would think that that would be a better way for using the chat. Okay, so let's see here. Lisa said, settle pedal. KDS says, emotions do not run in rational channels. I work with this for a living. Ah, that's right. Our friend KDS has been a counselor for a very long time. And Angela said that KDS, you are amazing. And she said, let's heal together. Angela, hugs to everyone to bring you all where you need to be today. May healing angel wings fold around everyone and transmute the ego vibes today. Excellent. Says, ooh, that's cool. Also, hi, trees. We see you and love you, trees. Katie says she likes the image of popping ego bubbles. So yeah, like I said, Aurora, so if you're having trouble on that end, like outside of the chat, then maybe what we could do working in the chat is just to work on the emotions, the feelings that are coming up, not who caused the feelings or what was said, but just the feelings that we're having right now. So, and then we can heal from there. Because I'm all about that. Angela said, thanks, KDS. I also recommend the line in the dirt. So you draw a circle around yourself and envision all the blocks and negativity, and then you erase the line and thus unblock yourself. Yes, you are right, Susie. We do need to get to our dragon spread, but I do like that, or I'd say it's a good opportunity with the things that have come up, have come up. And so, like I said, Caitlin, trying to talk it out here with the other person is probably not the place to do it. But talking about your emotions is the place because we do come here for healing. So, of the things that come up, I guess we could see how in our own lives, when we get really hurt by somebody that we care about, we can see with our friend Caitlin, because Caitlin, you help us to see things in ourselves. You know, I am you, you are me. How sometimes we can be so blinded by the pain that we're feeling. Perhaps we feel bullied, perhaps we feel pain and sadness and discomfort, that we put all of that onto the person and what they said and the situation. And it can be very hard for us to see anything outside of it. it becomes me against them. And you know, I know that that's happened to me in my own life. You know, sometimes I see somebody, they say something that I feel really hurt by, or, you know, it takes a stab at my ego somehow. And so I want to retaliate. I want to say it's them versus me. And it takes effort, you know, as this is always a practice, it takes effort to, you know, say, okay, what am I actually feeling? Aside from that person, maybe how they triggered this, how am I really feeling? And what are my feelings trying to tell me? What are my emotions trying to tell me? Where is that actually stemming from? And then it becomes less about them and less about what was said and less about the situation and more of I want to look at my own healing journey here. I want to heal. Obviously, we don't want to feel bullied. We don't want to feel triggered. We don't want to feel sad or unhappy. So, how do we look at what those emotions are trying to tell us? You know, if we don't want to feel that way, that's why we feel those emotions, because they feel uncomfortable, because our emotions are trying to tell us something. So we go inwards, and then it's what is in the past, what do I need to let go of, and things like that. So let's look at what you guys are saying.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
So the other day I was doing some healing on 7th grade, and I was bullied a little bit, and um, that bully was my best friend because he taught me exactly where I need to heal. I attracted that bully because my energy was imbalanced, and that bully was there to show me where that imbalance was. Now I can go back and heal it.
Yes, I mean, that's awesome. That's, um, you know, and I've been doing that. Well, throwing snow again back there. I've been doing that too, like thinking about, you know, like my childhood and like my mom who would basically bully me, and like, but how did I put myself in that alignment with those situations? Um, and now instead of seeing her as the bad guy, you know, and just putting all that blame onto her, and she was just mean to me, how can I have her be my teacher and help me to grow in that situation? She was trying to tell me something, but all my ego could see was she's bad, she's being mean. But she was really trying to show me something, teach me something about myself, that, you know, her just being one teacher, that if I were to stay in that unbalanced energy, I'm going to set myself up in the future for other situations and other people that will be in that similar imbalanced energy. But if I can heal it right there, then I no longer need to invite these people into my life, you know, these situations into my life that would cause me that very same pain or hurt that I originally felt with my mom. So, you know, she helps me to pinpoint those things that happen in my present and my future. So,
Thank your bullies.
thank your bullies. Yes. um, yes. So, KDS Worker was definitely talking about feelings. Feelings are one word. So, feeling tired or hungry or disgusted or hurt. Um, all right. It says no thoughts. No, he said, she said. No, name the feeling. Feelings are one word. Yes, yes. Such as I feel. Okay. So Karen, our friend Caitlin is saying that she feels abandoned. So that we can work with. We can definitely work with that energy, feeling abandoned. Um, and Peg says, "You are loved, Caitlin. I love you. I do not like to see the wrenches battling." I know, right? And Katie says, "I love you, Caitlin. This is a great feeling word. The feeling of abandonment. That is something that, yeah, we can definitely work with." And Lisa said, "The Ten of Wands from Santa Muerte deck is a majestic moth in this deck, again, strongly tied to deep emotions." And Katie says, "What Peg said is that you are not alone." And Angela says, "I love everyone here, sending angel vibes and love vibes for you all. I can set a candle for you, whatever situation this is, of course." Um, so, yes, Aurora, we understand that there is a situation between you and our other friend, but we're not focusing on what was said. We're not focusing on the situation. We're focusing on your feeling. And you said your feeling was abandonment. that is the feeling that we can work with. Again, like KDS was saying, it's not he said, she said, but let's focus on the feeling itself and where that is actually coming from. Because whatever happened with you and our friend was actually a catalyst for something from before. And Lisa said, well said, James. I hope you guys could hear him well. He was talking about his bullies. Thank your bullies. Peg says, I'm guessing she's feeling abandoned, unworthy, unheard, no justice. When overwhelmed with so many negative emotions, it is best to go within while the storm rages out. Yeah, and I think that this is wonderful. You guys all have different perspectives. So, what would be your advice, your healing advice, or even using your own intuition? Where do you feel like Caitlin's true abandonment is coming from? Feelings of abandonment, and of course, this situation is a trigger for it, but that's all it is. It's a symptom. It's like when you get sick. The doctor treats the symptoms, but what's the actual cause? And so we can treat the symptoms. Like, let's say we're able to heal the situation between, or not really heal, but we're able to calm down the situation between you and your friend. You know, that, okay, everybody sees eye to eye, blah, blah, blah. But that nagging abandonment feeling is still there, and it's waiting for the next trigger. It's waiting for the next situation to bring it up again. And then the feelings of abandonment come up again because it's saying, hey, Caitlin, this isn't healed. We need your help. You are a powerful young woman. We need your help with this. And we know that you have the ability to heal this. So we're going to come up once again. So that's why we're not so focused on what happened between you and your friend. And it's not that we're trying to make you feel unheard. It's not that we're trying to disregard any of that, because all your feelings are valid. But what we're saying is that it is a symptom of something. It is a trigger for something. And so we want to heal what's actually causing these triggers, so that any situation like this, whoops, hello, dragon, that comes up like this again, it won't trigger you like that anymore, because that part of you has been healed. So that's why we're saying, or why KDS worker is saying, focus on the feeling, focus on the emotion, because that we can help you with, so that situations like this don't come up for you again. And who knows, maybe you guys can go on, continue to be good friends, maybe you won't be, but this person, this situation is helping you with something. Okay. Susie said, James is amazing. Okay, so Aurora's feeling like there is no justice. Okay, again, another emotion of feeling that we can work with. This is great. Katie says, when we get stuck on perception of behavior, we can't heal the pain. Exactly. Angela says, and I want everyone to stay. I'm really attached to this little circle of friends. You're all so sweet. Thank you, Angela. Peg says, ditto. Liesel said, abandonment is a core wound. I know. Takes much introspection in my own experience. Okay, so Caitlin says, I know where my abandonment comes from. It comes from when my biological grandmother's second husband molested me and tore me away from my birth family. He never was convicted, and I wasn't the only one. I never got justice. Okay, so we found the core trauma, and you are very aware of the core trauma, that you tried to say something, you weren't heard, you feel that there was no justice, you feel abandonment from those that you love. And so anytime people that you care about, i.e., our friends, family members, whatever they may be, when something is said or a situation occurs between them that brings up those similar feelings, all of that old trauma, the feeling of abandonment, the feeling of no justice, not being heard, we start to take all of that and we place it on the new situation. We place it on the new person. And so then that person becomes our past. And we're looking at them from our past. So now that we know the core issue, we can go in and we could try to heal that core issue, so that how you see these situations, how you see what was said, how you see these other people, it starts to shift and change, because what's happening inside of us is shifting and changing. So yes, We got to work on the abandonment that happened way back when you were young. We got to work on the injustice that you felt. We got to work on the feelings of not being heard. And the more that we work on, I know it's not going to be a snap of the fingers, because yes, it is a journey. But the more we can focus on that, the less we can have our focus taken away, because our ego is very crafty. Our ego would have us take our perspective away from the healing and have it placed all on one person. Say, no, I'm angry with this person because this person said this, this, and this. And sure, you may have very well felt all of those things. Maybe you did feel abandoned. Maybe you did feel that there was no justice. Maybe you did feel that you weren't being heard. But let's not take it away from what actually needs to be healed and place it on this symptom, because that's all it is. But the symptom will be fixed, will be healed when we go in and we look at it at the core. Okay. Lilia says, sometimes we protect our own trauma. By the way, hi, I missed most of the conversation. Hello, Lily, welcome, welcome. And just says, and I'd love to help you with that, Aurora, with your emotions. You can get through it. And Katia says, this life work is not easy, better together. Yes. And Caitlin, I would say that I am grateful that you've brought this up with us, because this is something that we're all working with. We're all trying to see how anything that's been difficult in our lives, how maybe we can see it as just a symptom of something greater, something that we need to heal within ourselves. And although, yes, I know that you are experiencing pain right now, I know that you are sad right now, but I also know that you have the strength to go in and find that core, which you already have, and you can work on it. I do believe in you, because remember, I'm you and you're me. So, and I think it's a beautiful reminder for all of us, and how we all want to heal. I know that everybody in here wants to help each other. We may get upset at each other. We may feel hurt by each other sometimes, but that doesn't mean that we're mortal enemies. It means that we're teachers for each other. You're helping me in some way through my pain. You're helping me in some way through my sadness. And I appreciate you guys for that. And so, Caitlin, I do appreciate you. I truly do. And I know that everybody here has the best of intentions. Even the person that you're feeling hurt by, I know wants the best for you. Even though, yes, I know that you are feeling hurt. So, let's focus on the original trauma. Let's focus on that so that we can help to heal it. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back here. Okay, so Peg said, wow, what a breakthrough. Yes. And Susie says, Caitlin, I'm sorry for what happened to you. And you know that. Peg says, and horrific, you are not alone. And Susie's saying, I'm sorry for what happened. She said she didn't mean to put that emoji in the typing. So Caitlin was wondering from our friend why she was making her feel that. But remember that our emotions come up on our own. Nobody can make us feel anyway. I mean, let's say James came over here and he just started being a total dick. He's not going to make me feel any sort of way that I don't let him make me feel. So if I start to feel worthless or little or like belittled or unhappy, I am allowing those emotions to come up, because I'm allowing him to make me feel that way, so to speak, because I'm allowing those emotions. But I choose to have those emotions because I know that maybe somewhere inside of me, I need that healing to take place. Hence, I brought that situation towards me. Now, James would never do that, but I was just giving that as a for instance, because that's somebody that I love. So let's see. I'm just trying to get back to where I was. The chat goes by so fast. Peg says, my daughter is going through this exact thing and it breaks my heart. Well, hopefully there is some some healing in there as well for you too, Peg, and for your daughter. Angela said, hugs, I'm so sorry that happened to you. It says a lot about them as humans, not you. Don't let what they did bleed on those who didn't cause the wound. That's beautifully said, Angela. I love that. Katie says, Caitlin, this is brave to share with this group. I love you, and I want you to just hug your inner child and tell you that you matter. You are lovable. I am backing Karen's words right now. Yes. Angela said, hugs to Aurora. I love you, and I want you to stay. I want to see you heal and get better. Yes. Russ says, I've heard our higher self places people and NPCs in our lives to show us how we've made others feel at an earlier time. I was recently blocked from a channel. It happened as I've blocked others. It could be, us kind of like a karmic thing, but really, I think that we align ourselves with certain people. Sorry, my beanie keeps falling off. That's why I keep grabbing my head. But I think that energetically speaking, this is just my belief that we energetically align ourselves with certain people and situations in order for us to grow. Sometimes those people and situations make us feel wonderful and super awesome. Sometimes those people and situations really hurt us. They really make us feel sad. But it's not them that we should place all our venom on. Really, what it is to understand, where is this venom coming from, and how can I look at that for my own healing? So, in that way, instead of keeping an energetic cord of discord and hatred, instead we cut that cord and say, hey, I show gratitude for the situation. Thank you, person who upset me, brought out my biggest shadows and my biggest triggers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe in the moment it was really hard for me to say that, but when I give myself time to reflect and really look at the bigger picture, I say, thank you. Thank you, person who showed me that this is a shadow of mine and I misdirected the blame game, and I blamed you for something that happened to me a long time ago. And now I know that you were just trying to teach me something. You weren't my mortal enemy. You weren't trying to hurt me, but you were showing me something. My ego would think otherwise. My ego says, no, you hurt me. You're bad. I want everybody to know. But our higher self would say, what did that person try to show you? And we should be grateful for that, because that person is you. You can see yourself in that person. And now you have this whole wonderful group to help you to heal. And yes, Caitlin, it is very brave of you to be able to talk about something so sensitive, I think, with everyone here. So I think that that's great. And I appreciate that you're helping us with our healing as well. Let's see. Okay, so Caitlin says she does know her own worth. All right. Karen says, we own and regulate our feelings. No one can make us feel a certain way. We own our regulatory process in our brain. Caitlin says, and I always apologize. Okay. Angela says, we should all hug vibes and breathe out all these feelings. John says he had a dream about this. Very interesting. You might want to look into that. Why is the dream world and the 3D world lining up right now? Peg says, hey, soul brother, good to see you. Russ. Susie says, this is helping her as well. I'm very glad. I'm very glad. Excellent. Angela says, maybe that's why I'm so drawn to the Archangel and the Gold Dragon. Dragonfire transmutes and angels heal. Is calling Archangel Raphael a possibility. John said, I saw a bear who I recognized. The beast charged, and I was full of dread. When the bear reached me. She held her paw up, and a hand smaller than mine rested in the larger paw. That is beautiful. I love that. So Caitlin, what we're saying is right now you're putting all of your focus onto our friend, your friend. But that's not where we need to focus right now. Yes, we understand you're very hurt. You're going through a pain. You have a huge shadow that's come up. You have a huge trauma that's come up. But we're not focusing on the back and forth between you guys right now. So, Caitlin, as the owner of this channel, I'm asking you to stop the focus of what she said or you said or that. We want to focus on your healing because we truly care about you and we love you. So we want to get to the core, the very, very core. Russ says we need to listen to understand as opposed to listening to respond. Ah, very good. Angela says, I'll be honest, I nearly clicked off because of it, but I decided I needed to stay and hug because I can't run from conflict forever. That's beautiful, Angela. And I do really appreciate how this, I mean, yes, I want to do our dragon spread, but I think what's more important is all of us healing. And whether it's uncomfortable or not, just us being able to talk things out. I think this is more important than any spread. I mean, to be honest. Um, Peg says, must be. Don't poke the bear. Huh, John? KDS says, feels like we are entering a loving, healing place to do the dragon spread. I agree. And just says, no need to feel sad or sorry when you're having troubles. You're having troubles. And just says, I want to make sure it heals. Love you guys. Lily says, I get it, Caitlin. My advice is if she doesn't, she doesn't. We can't make people love us. Friendships are just as hard as love relationships. That's very true. It's very true. And Caitlin says, this year is my birth element. I'm a wood rooster. Roosters are supposed to be a leader. And so, Caitlin, I would say to that you are the leader in your own healing as well. We become our inner leaders before we become outer leaders. And right now, you're actually, I would say, inadvertently, maybe you don't know it, but I do, being a leader in this group. You're saying, hey, I'm not afraid to express my shadows and my traumas. I'm not afraid to tell you like where a catalyst to a trauma or a shadow is coming up. And that is what we appreciate. That's the sign of a true leader. So bringing the focus back to the healing instead of outwards, pointing fingers, because that we're not doing. But going inwards to our healing, that's freaking badass. KDS says, conflict is not bad. It's an opportunity to grow and understand. Exactly. And that's why I would say Tara of the past, back when I first started my YouTube channel. And I had, I mean, what am I joking about? I still have sometimes issues with conflict. Like, I don't want to cause conflict. James and I were just talking about this yesterday, that sometimes I don't say things because I don't want to cause conflict. Because conflict is one of my shadows. My ego could try to rationalize things like, oh, well, I just don't want people to be angry, or, well, I just don't like to see people upset. But that's my shadow talking. That's my freaking traumas talking. And so James, who's very good, he has Maluk energy. He's very good at pointing those things out to me, which I'm very appreciative for. But old me, very, very unhealed me of the past, I probably would have said, okay, no, we're not talking about our traumas here today. No, we're not talking about, like, I probably would have been like a douche and just maybe blocked certain comments or something like that, because I felt uncomfortable, because I don't like conflict. So I don't like seeing conflict in others. But now, this is why I haven't shut down this conversation, is because I know that it's not only healing to you guys, but it's healing to me, because I know that something good can come from this, that it's not allowing negativity to just spew forth and do all this. I know that if we can keep it focused on healing, that true healing, no matter if there's conflict, no matter what's coming up for us, we can really do something as a group right now. And so that's why I'm not like trying to just pretend that nothing is going on, or, because that would be my coping mechanisms. That would be my own issues. And so if I'm trying to lead a channel, I have to walk the walk, right? So this is me walking the walk, and because I know deep down in my core, because I'm listening to my heart space at the moment, that it's helpful for everyone. So I think this has been a freaking amazing chat so far. Just my thoughts. Um, mhm. Mm. Angela says roosters have to learn to settle down through to lead the hens, or the hens avoid the aggressive rooster. And Katie says, you are a leader, Caitlin. How we resolve conflict is what determines if it's negative or positive. And Caitlin said, thank you, everyone. I personally believe I'm the Queen of Swords. It's become my card. I've always thought I was the Queen of Swords too, so high five. Angela says, well, remember the Queen of Swords has a sword, but she's wise enough to know when to use it. Just like the obsidian blade, we might say that it could be used to hurt or to heal. Angela says, it's not a bad energy to be in. She's learned to deal with triggers and not use the sword unless it's truly needed. Katia says, I don't know what that card means, which is why I need you all. Susie says, also, I was programmed that things should be kept private, so this has been extremely hard for me, but I am feeling more settled thanks to you all and Tara's wisdom, the chats, and James. So wonderful. Thank you, Susie. Aurora said, understood. Peg said, no, justice is a collective wound. We all need to heal. Yeah, some wounds go even deeper. It goes to our collective level, not just our own personal life, not just our past lives, but us as a collective. So yeah, I do believe that as well. Angela says, try the bubble visualization. Visualize gray bubbles when you feel triggered, and then fill them with brighter light and let the light change the energy and then burst the bubble. I like that, to send out the transmuted energy. Aurora says, maybe that's it. I've never believed in secrets and lying. Lies and secrets always are revealed and cause chaos because they are hidden. So why lie or keep secrets? So two different points of view. So again, thank you to our two friends here, both having huge shadows and huge sensitivities come up. And I'm so, so happy that now that we can stop pointing the fingers, because that's 100% ego saying, you're bad, you did this. But if we can take that away and we can see why we're being triggered, why I felt so hurt, why our friend Aurora was feeling hurt by this other person, why our friend was feeling hurt by Caitlin. Now we understand why, and why talking about it here might also be a trigger. So this is wonderful. This is freaking real healing here. I love it. Real healing in real time, you guys. And then John said the bear is a maternal animal. Yes. Okay. All right. So I would say for our friend Susie, our friend Caitlin, for all of us, anything that has come up today or in the past, which has kind of brought up this discussion today, I would say leave a heart if you are going to use this as an opportunity for your own healing. Instead of he said, she said, instead of this person is now the focus of all my trauma or all of my hurt and pain. And it's not, I would say it's not a way to bypass what others do to us or say, or, things that come up for us. It's not bypassing. It's quite the opposite. It's taking charge of our own healing. It's saying, I see what came up when you did this. And when you said this made me feel this way. And so you use your throat chakra in expressing that. But then we move away from the person in the situation and we come back to ourselves. We say, okay, I've expressed myself. And now I need to look at what came up for me. And now I'm going to go backwards in time and see where that's actually coming from. And that's where we become leaders. That's where we become masters of our own life, of our own healing. And that anything that happens in our outside world, all of these other people, all these situations, no matter what comes up for us, we start to look at them differently, and we start to have more joy and happiness in our lives, because no longer are these people out here, you know, people I need to be like wary of, or somebody's out there to get me or hurt me, but instead, wow, there's a bunch of different aspects of me out there. There's a bunch of, some of them are creeps, but you know what? Maybe there's an aspect of me that's a creep. And maybe I gotta look at that. And it's I think just creates a much more fruitful existence, and one in which we can access our own abilities even more. Caitlin said she's a leader. I highly believe that is true, because you know there's leadership qualities in all of us. Therefore, 100% there are leadership qualities in her. And I think that this situation has been, hurtful, but a blessing as well. Because Caitlin, now I know 100% you're going to learn from this situation. You're going to become the Queen of Swords even more, embody it even more, and decide, what do I want to do with this sword? Well, I'm gonna use this to lead the people, because I know now something that was hard for me to see at first, but my friends who are also me helped me to see, and I'm gonna use this moving forward. So I love all these hearts coming in, which means a lot of people are gonna use this as a healing experience, which I think is freaking awesome sauce. Angela says, look at the intention and the whole situation before calling someone out. Always. Secrets are a part of trauma, says KDS. All right. I love the hearts. All right. So Caitlin said it's 11:38 right now. 3 plus 8 equals 11. So it's 11:11. Those are my numbers right now. 11111. Angela said, I had a friend, uh, a key, something from me for several years. Oh, kept something from me for several years because she knew if she told me right away, I'd have freaked out. And I couldn't have handled it. In the end, I was grateful that I wasn't told straight away. She was protecting me. I see. Love the hearts. All those hearts that you guys see, the people that are watching the replay later, all of these people are taking the opportunity from today's chat to work on their own healing. And so I love each and every one of you. I truly do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Katia says, educational experience too. Yes. All right. Well, I thank you guys. I thank you for everything that we just talked about right now. I think that this was amazing. I'm glad that I didn't allow my own triggers and shadows to block the healing that was taking place here. I think that we are ready to do this dragon spread. And you know what? How interesting that we put our dragon spread on hold, because the year of the dragon is about healing. The wood dragon is about becoming a leader in our own healing journey, being able to see from a higher perspective, our dragons that can fly. And so I'm glad that we put the spread on hold. We will do it now, because we were actually embodying dragon energy right now. Like the past 20 minutes or 30 minutes that went by, we were embodying the spread. We were the spread. The spread is meant to help us talk things out, right? Whether we're talking it out with another person, or we're talking it out just in our journal, or whatever it may be. But that's what spreads are for. That's what tarot is for. It's a permission slip for us to get into a state where we're connecting to our higher self. We're connecting to our intuition, so we can have this conversation. My ego saying this. What do you have to say about this, higher self? And so we were the tarot spread right now. And so I think maybe from this chat that we had, maybe now we have some different questions that we may want to put into our spread, so that people who maybe won't watch the replay, but maybe they'll take a look at this spread, which I always post on my website and I always post on social media, they'll be able to take all the healing and everything that you guys talked about today. John's dreams, the things that Russ had said, Caitlin being vulnerable and opening herself up, but also our friend Susie doing that as well. Everybody who felt like they were able to just share, they felt safe enough to share all of those things. Let's start putting those into questions so that other people can benefit from what you guys just did here today, because you guys were literally the tarot spread. I love you guys. um, Okay, so let's see. Angela says, I'm glad I stuck around through the conflict. This ended up beautiful. And Caitlin said something else as well. Cruel World Festival is May 11th, 5/11. Both Brian and I are Life Path 5s and the number 11. Hey, hey, hey. Nice. Peg is a wood dragon. Ah, yay. Happy New Year to you, Peg. Angela said, funny how things line up, Aurora. Yes. Katie says, I don't know what that means. I need you all. All right. So Aurora was saying that it is a constant. Angela said, is calling in Archangel Raphael in for any extra needed healing. Love it. All right, my healing babes and dudes and dudettes. What would we call dudes? Babes and boobs? Like, all right, so let's grab a pen here. Or do I have, dude, I have my vodka on the rocks right here. Okay, let's create this freaking dragon spread. So see, we needed to have this talk so we can create the most badass healing spread freaking social media has ever seen. Anybody that does come across it, you know, and I know that this is going to be awesome because it's going to have pieces of you guys in here and everything that we just talked about for healing. So I'm feeling 7. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling 7 questions because I don't know, maybe the number 7 to me represents rebirth, transmuting, transformation. And I think that that's what we are in the middle of right now. All of us are in a different transformation and healing in our life. So let's come up with 7 questions just based on kind of what we talked about. You know, like I said, we embodied the year of dragon right now, the wood dragon, which by the way, my dad is a dragon. He's a metal dragon, but he's a dragon too. So let me write this stuff down. Let me just put down 7 numbers, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And so remember that the dragon is all about leadership. Wood dragon, stability, healing, taking charge of one's healing, being able to see things from a larger perspective, being able to see the light and the dark in all situations, being able to lead others through the heart, through fairness, loyalty, being loyal to self. So, loyal to self as in the heart, not like selfish loyal to self. Okay, so let's see here. Angela said hugs. I know you remain constant, Aurora, you and Susie both, because I love you guys like sisters. Lily said ase. Aurora said, Susie, can you make it so I can use my Lilith channel here? This channel should be gone by now. Oh, okay. I see. So yeah, it looks like Susie didn't actually block that channel. So like I said, Aurora, I like literally YouTube is messing up like crazy. So there are certain channels that just like people had to make, I actually heard about this when I was like watching some videos and stuff. There are some people that who had to make whole new channels because they thought their channel was being blocked by someone when that someone was YouTube. So yeah, sorry for the misunderstanding there. Yeah, Angela, YouTube shadow blocks channels sometimes. Dude, it's crazy and shady. You know, these are supposed to be creative platforms where people can just like speak and like, you know, do their thing and to have, yeah, don't get me started on that. Let's do the Year of the Dragon. Ooh, Peg's like, maybe they don't like anyone bringing up Lilith. That's true, because what does Lilith represent? I see you, YouTube. Okay, so let's fire away. 7 questions, you guys. Any question that comes to mind pertaining to the Year of the Wood Dragon, which was basically everything that we just kind of like went over and talked about because we were embodying the spread earlier. What would you guys want as questions? I'm writing them down right now. So maybe Caitlin, you can help fill in our friend Karen with Who is Lilith? I think Caitlin would be better versed in telling you than I would. And other folks here, obviously. Angela said, Lilith mythologically gets a bad hand, but I worked with her as a baby witch. Her vibes were wow, and she never hurt me. Karen's like, see, I need you all. And Peg's like, I think she's a wood dragon. All right, cool, cool. Then we have aspects of Lilith in here as well. Okay. Good tea, hot tea. You just want to keep falling down. Where do you want to keep going? Okay, so John has our first question. It's a wonderful question. How am I protecting my inner child that is no longer serving me? I love it. I love it. How am I protecting? Start spitting out those questions, you guys. I'll start writing them down. My inner child, which is no longer serving me. All right, first question in the books. What else do you guys got? Angela says, I actually still have the candle holder I made for her, even though I haven't worked with her in a while. I believe in holding space for entities in case they come back. Ah, all right. Susie says, Lilith wouldn't submit to Adam, so the patriarch maligned her. She is a powerful goddess. Caitlin's like, okay, YouTube did block me. Freaking YouTube, man. Okay. So other questions. What are your other questions for the wood dragon spread? Maybe questions that came up during our chat that we just had. Okay, Liesel says, how am I best integrating my shadow at this time? I love it, Liesel. I love it. How am I best integrating my shadow at this time? All right. So Lisa also having a wonderful question. Let me just put up here. So this is John's question. This was Liesel. Okay, just so I can give credit where credit is due with the questions. Katia says, how can crystals help with further trauma healing since they have done that already? Good question. Oh. I love this dragon because he's so like slick and sneaky. He's like, I'm going back here now. I'm going over here. He's got a little mind of his own. Okay, how can crystals help with further trauma healing? Can with further trauma healing? Wait, hold on. Healing, since they have done that already. Okay. Since already. Okay, and this comes from our friend Karen. All right, so we have John, Liesel, Karen. Angela says, what message does Lilith and her dragon aspect have for us this year? Ooh, I like it. Okay, what message does Lilith and her dragon aspect? Have for us this year? That's from Angela. Okay. All right. 3 more questions, you guys. Let's see. Angela says, I feel like it's no coincidence she's coming through. Kaylin says, how do we know when we fully defeated our childhood trauma? All right. And this will be from our friend Caitlin. How do we know when we fully defeated? We've fully defeated our childhood trauma. And this is from Caitlin. Caitlin. Okay. All right. Lily, how can we incorporate my shadow with my higher self in a positive way? Okay. That's from Lily. Can we incorporate, what was it? Incorporate my shadow with my higher self in a positive way. Shadow with my higher self in a positive way. That's from Lily. All righty. And she says, I'm going to grab her candle holder down and light a tea candle. Peg says, what is the #1 ego program we need to dissolve for the collective? Nice one.
My dragon has one.
A
question for you.
Oh, what is it?
Can I say it?
Yeah.
In what way have you spit your fire carelessly?
In what way have you spit your fire carelessly? Your fire carelessly. And that was from James.
That's for my dragon.
James's dragon. Okay. All right. Let me get back here. Okay, what's the #1 ego program we need to dissolve for the collective? And that was from Peg. For the collective. Okay, I think that's a good amount of questions. We'll probably stop there. Everybody saying, great question. Caitlin said, the fact that YouTube hid my Lilith channel makes me worry when I'll start making gaming videos. Oof. Sue says, Caitlin, you assumed it was me, so that is a lesson in it for you too, not trying to start conflict again. All right. Angela said, also, one thing I found notable was when Lilith first came through my meditation, I was in such a bad place trigger-wise. I was rude to her. I didn't remember what I said. All right. Caitlin apologized. This is wonderful. You guys are freaking fantastic. Russ said, I've learned to heal myself by drawing light green healing energies, visualizing it into my hand. Then when glowing, I place the hand over my pulled muscle. Did this happen because of the year of the dragon? Could be helping you to see your own power. All right, Kate said, guidance for my spiritual pilgrimage to Seoul, South Korea in the year of the dragon. So for like a question. Oh yeah, we'll be doing super chats and super stickers right afterwards, of course. Angela says, but she said, oh honey, I know a triggered soul when I see one. You don't mean a word of what you said. KDS says, AI is a whole thing, rabbit hole for another day. I know, right? Angela says, she came through so clear and she was right too. I said I was sorry after a few days. Everybody's saying, great question, James. He says, this was the dragon. Caitlin says, You know what? Yeah, we might do a live maybe together at some point. I don't know. I mean, he did actually when we did Mr. Rogers. He was actually the one filming and asking some of the questions. So, you know, we could do more. Ascension waits. Oh, hey, Wasima. How is it? She says, hi, how can I hide the dragon with courage? Oh, how can I ride the dragon with courage? Okay. With courage. This is Wasima. Okay. And just a candle lit, dried lily petals and sage flowers. Beautiful. Lily says, what dragon medicine is being shared with us? Okay, Caitlin has to go. It's time for lunch, but blessed be. Caitlin, I am wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for all that you shared and how you helped us today. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a beautiful Lunar New Year, a wonderful Valentine's Day if we don't hear from you sooner. And yeah, have a great week. Let's see. What dragon medicine is being shared with us? Okay, that'll be our last question, was Lily's question. What dragon medicine is being shared with us? All right, so everybody's saying bye. Susie says, you, Peg, you warm my heart. Katie says, I intended for Mr. Rogers. I've got to go back and listen. And Peg says, you two warm my heart, Susie and Aurora. And just says, enjoy your lunch and come back, okay? We love you. And Peg says, yes, thank you for showing us all how it works. Great leadership. All right, so we have 10 beautiful questions here. I think that's a doozy of a spread, but you know what? We had some doozy of healing, so I like it. Okay. All right, so here are your questions with everybody's name attached to it. So I will make sure that I get on the computer this week and I'll try to do up like a nice visual of the spread with your questions. I'll post it on my YouTube channel page, like as a YouTube post. I'll also post it on Instagram at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, so you guys can see your own spread. And I thank you guys so much. But yeah, let's pull cards on this spread. Heck yeah. Lily says, I saw your Chola video on Instagram. It had me cracking up. I know, like these trees, ain't it? They be talking shit. They talk about, oh, you don't know how to like connect to your crown chakra. Like, I don't know how to soak up source. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be, shh. Way. And just says, yeah, let's link some cards and poems. All right. Okay, so let's see. What deck do I want to use here? Ooh, you know what? I'm going to use Foxfire, the Kitsune Oracle. Oh, KDS workers like, what is Chola? Chola is just like a female hood rat, like female gangsta kind of. She's like gang member, but we're talking about female gang member in a funny sense. Susie said, Chola is slang. Yeah. And Angela says, I have that one. I love Kitsune. Yay! Okay, so we'll use this deck for show. I'll pull the cards based on like answers for me. I would like you guys to do the same for you. Like what do the answers mean for you in your life? Peg says, I would enjoy a video of how you two met and how your journey has evolved. Maybe you each could interview each other, Tara and James. That could be cool. Yeah, that could be cool. I could dig it. Okay, so here are the 10 questions. And thank you to John, Liesel, Karen, Angela, Caitlin, Lily, Peg, James's Dragon, and Wasima for your questions. Okay, let's start off with question number 1. I got my deck here. Hopefully you guys got your deck, or you're just channeled in, you're tapped into your intuition right now. Just pull that guidance right on down. Angela says, thank you for doing this. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who stuck around to help each other as well as ourselves, you know, on our healing journey. But I thank you guys. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys. This is why I like hanging out here on Sundays. Yeah, I like to goof around with you guys. Yeah, I like to do fun stuff. But I really do love the light that you guys exude, the wisdom that you all have, whether it's, you know, your intellectual wisdom or your spiritual wisdom. You guys all have something wonderful to share, and the fact that everybody truly at their core is willing to help others. I know that's why I like you guys, because you really want to help others. You really want to help yourself as well. And so it may come across in different ways because we're different people. So we have different ways of speaking, we have different ways of communicating with each other. But I think that one common ground makes this channel great, because that's your guys' common ground. It's like, let's heal together. So I appreciate today's chat. I really do. And I thank you guys for coming up with this spread, which I know is going to help a lot of people too. All right. So let's shuffle these cards. Just had to get that off my chest, you know. Angela says, I'm going to do it in the poems because I have candle on the desk and don't want to burn my cards. Oh, hey, no worries. Peg says, smash the love thumb. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's start off with John's first question. And John asked, how am I protecting my inner child, which is no longer serving me? So how am I protecting my inner child, which is no longer serving me? So maybe like the way in which we're protecting them is no longer serving. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate you. Peg says, yes, muchas gracias. Angela said, everyone give Susie Maud love for all her hard work. All right. Okay, so how have I been protecting my inner child, which is no longer serving me? We have threefold protection. Interesting, because John's question was literally about protecting the inner child in a way that's no longer serving me. So threefold protection. I love the image here. Here she is battling it out in this sea here. And remember, we talked about the beginning of how we're viewing a situation. Am I underwater looking up, or am I above the water looking down, inadvertently at my own reflection? So let's see what this means for me personally. Ah, okay. So, and I guess this came up yesterday too. My ego protects my inner child whenever my ego feels under attack. So whether somebody says something, they do something, maybe it's like a look they give me, and I feel like I'm being attacked in some way, I go around my inner child and I'm like, no, you go away, bad person. No, what you're saying, I'm not listening, la 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 la. Like I need to protect this inner child. And that's stemming from me as an actual child, where I was literally under attack verbally and physically from my parents and from bullies, which I attracted because of my parents, which put me in that vibration. Okay, Dragon, do you just want to hang out on my sweater? Because that's cool too. Maybe you want to hang out on this side. Maybe that's why it keeps falling down. Oh, he did want to be on this side. Okay, cool. So I would decide that I'm not listening. I got to argue. I got to defend myself because I feel like I'm under attack. And it's just a response, a trauma response from little kid me, from trying to keep myself from becoming hurt further, hurt by the people who I love, you know, whether it's their words or they're being physically rough with me. I go inwards and I decide I'm not listening, I'm not here, I'm talking back, no, 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 like, you know, I gotta fight. And so I think that that's something obviously I am very aware of now, and I'm working on letting that go. I want that to go because I don't want to fight with people anymore just because my trigger is coming up, just because my inner child feels like it's under attack. It's like, no, this makes me feel the way I felt with my mom. This makes me feel the way I felt with my dad. So I want to just fight, fight, fight. You know, I got to protect myself, fight, fight, fight. And that's just, I don't learn anything that way. And so now that I'm aware of it, you know, it's time to let that stuff go. It's time to let all that childhood fighting. I got to protect myself. I got to keep the bullies away from me. I got to keep angry mom, angry dad away from me. It's got to go because it's going to hurt my present. So, all right. Excellent question from our friend John. Okay. KDS says, immense love and gratitude to you, Susie. Peg said, boom, this hits home. Angela said, overshadowing yourself and not letting your inner child out to have fun each day is suffocating. You know, one likes to be inside. We all need sunshine. Let your inner child be free and free yourself too. Susie said, he is so cute. Beautiful message. Oh, Caitlin's back. Hey! All right. Welcome back, Chica. I was thinking of like, welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back, Cotter. Do, 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 do. Welcome back, Caitlin. All right. Question number 2. And this one is from our friend Liesel. And Liesel says, how can I best integrate my shadow at this time? Katia says, it's so hard to let go of self-protection. Oh, don't I know it, Karen. Don't I know it. Caitlin said, the meals are quick and delicious. Ooh, what did you have? Do tell. Karen says she loved that show. Dude, a lot of people love that show. Catchy intro, too. All right, so Liesel, how can I best integrate my shadow at this time? Angela says, don't forget the tea. I know, right? All right, Liesel. Thank you for this question. Let's look at what this means for me personally. All right. How can I best integrate my shadow at this time? Ooh, be still a while. Caitlin had a smoked sausage, au gratin potato salad, and bread. Whoa, a feast for a queen. That's awesome. That's amazing. That sounds really delicious. I love potatoes au gratin. Okay, so what does this mean for me? How can I best integrate my shadow at this time? Okay. So instead of, you know, because usually, not all the time, but usually I'm aware of when my shadows come up. The times that I'm not aware when they come up, James is really good at pointing them out, which irritates my ego, but it's just my ego, so whatever. But instead of recoiling in horror with my shadows that are coming up, instead of feeling bad about them and seeing it as like a mark against my character, instead to be still with it and be like, okay, so this is me. All right, the shadows come up. It's me. It's a part of me. I can't really shun it because it's part of me. I can't really ignore it because it'll just keep coming up. So, shadow, what do you have to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? I know that you're not trying to hurt me. So, what are you just trying to show me at this time? And once you show me, I can help to heal you. So, this is more of a active approach, but a stillness of active approach, I would think for myself. It's just like, okay, I see. All right. Okay, Shadow. I can't really like just give you the boot because I don't really know what you're stemming from. So I can't, you'll never go away until, I understand where you're really coming from. So it's really sitting with the shadow, I think, is how I integrate it into my being, is really trying to understand its message, where it's really coming from, why it's there in the first place, why I've kept it for so long. Like, why? What was the reasoning basically behind all of it? So I like that, Lisa. That is an excellent question. Heck yeah. Um, KDS says, "Are you Italian, Aurora?" Aurora said, "The nurses are really great cooks. We had banana bread yesterday." Ooh, that sounds delicious. Peg says, "I really feel you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you will certainly expand and grow, and yes, leave it at some point, which will be another obstacle, but more of a test than that you are healed." And Angela said, "Be still a while, watch the world go by. It's okay sometimes. You just need to sit with your shadows till they tell you their real name. Sometimes anger is named grief, and heartache is named love." Aurora said, "Nope, I'm just a normal Missouri girl." Angela said, "Sit and get to know your shadows. They just need a hug." Amen. Lily said, "Integrating shadow was my question, not Lisa's." Oh, okay. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, yeah, Lily, yours was, "How can we incorporate my shadow with my higher self in a positive way?" And then I think it was Lisa says, "How can I best integrate my shadow at this time?" So I think you guys had similar questions. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you guys had similar questions. All righty. Let's see. KDS says, "I love that, Angela." Susie went off to go grab her coffee. All right. Okay. Let's go on to question number 3. You guys have some awesome stuff here. This one comes from our friend Karen, also known as KDS Worker. Karen's question is, "How can crystals help with further trauma healing since they have done that already?" All right. And Caitlin was asking if John is also from Missouri. Okay. So Karen, how can crystals help with further trauma healing since they've already done that? They've done that already. Let's see what this means for me. Ooh, we have fleeting beauty. John says, "Born in California, been here for 30 years. California love." I'm also a born and bred Cali girl, now living up in the White Mountains of Arizona. um, oh, that's snow up there. I thought that was new structures. I was like, what the heck? It's just snow. Anyway, all right, fleeting beauty. How does this connect to Karen's question? How can crystals help with further trauma healing since they've done that already? Okay. When our crystals fade or break, that's actually how they teach us about healing our traumas. So when we get a brand new Christie, it's like, I don't know, actually this piece of petrified wood that we found. But we got this piece of petrified wood. It's like, oh wow, it's so beautiful. I love the colors. Yay. And then one day it breaks. Ah, I feel heartbroken. It's like, oh no, my beautiful Christie. I wanted to keep it perfect and intact, and now it's shattered and broken. But what's it really trying to tell us? It's trying to say, hey, some things, once you've worked on them and you've healed them, like you don't need that reoccurring energy anymore. Some things need to be let go of. Just like these crystals, sometimes they fade, sometimes they break, and they're just trying to show us that once you've done the healing in something, once you've finished a lesson, there's no need to keep repeating that lesson. There's no need to keep that energy around us anymore. And sometimes we shift and change. Maybe what we thought was like, oh, beautiful, it's like looks perfect and beautiful, but we don't stay the same forever, just like these crystals don't stay the same forever. Sometimes they morph, they really do. They're called polymorphs and mesomorphs. They change shape. They literally sometimes become other crystals. Sometimes they have penetrators, meaning crystals start to go through them. Sometimes they form water bubbles inside. They literally change all the time. We like to think that these things stay the same, but they don't. And so they're trying to show us that just as we change, and they change, we change. And that's how it is with our traumas, that as we move through these traumas, we're going to literally shift and change. We're going to see the world differently. We may even look differently. Who knows? But just because something is broken off of a crystal doesn't mean it's quote unquote broken. It's just changed its shape, just like we have. And maybe the ego would like us to stay in one form or in one trauma forever, but that doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve the crystal. When a crystal wants to break, it will break. When a crystal wants to fade, it will fade. Like when a crystal wants to move on and be with someone else, it will. You know, just like our crystals here, when they don't want to be in the shop anymore, when they don't want to be here and they know that they've aligned themselves with the person that needs to take them home, that's the crystal that sells. We don't make the crystals do anything, just like you can't make a human do anything it doesn't want to do. So, all right, I dig that. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you, Karen. That was a good question. Aurora said, Lucy Cavendish's Foxfire Katsuni Oracle. Lucy is one of my favorites. Oh, I know it, girl. I was thinking of you when I pulled it out. Katia says, nothing stays gold forever. Yep, nothing gold can stay. That is a beautiful poem, by the way. Susie says, wow, Tara, I did not know that. That is so neat. Kaylin says, have you read the poem by Robert Frost? That's who I was thinking of. Katia says, John the Floor, need to pick it up. Angela said, swapping devices. Be with you all in a minute or two. Oh, okay. No worries. Okay, let's go into question number 4, which is Angela's question as she went off to go swap her device. But it says, what message does Lilith in her dragon aspect have for us this year? So what message does Lilith in her dragon aspect have for us this year? So let's bring it to me personally. Oh, you've been trying to talk into my microphone. I see what you're trying to do here. Okay. What message does Lilith in her dragon aspect have for me this year? Let's see. Watch and listen carefully. Watch and listen carefully. Let's see what this means for me. Okay, so in Lord of the Rings, I know that Smaug. He was seen as kind of like a bad character, like he's a bad guy, he's the dragon or whatever. But there was definitely some things that Frodo and everybody could learn from him, right? Because even though he was the bad guy, there was stuff that they could definitely learn about themselves and how they react to things. Um, so Lilith in her dragon aspect is trying to teach me to be more open to listening, you know, that sometimes, and maybe it's me being a Gemini, maybe it's just how I was raised and all of that, is that once, okay, and we're back. But anyway, yeah, when I think that I like know something already, I start, I don't know, I stop seeking information about it and I stop listening and I just start wanting to like figure it out myself now. It's like, okay, I've gotten enough information where I think I could just go off on my own and do it. And I think that that's probably something stemming from my childhood of like, okay, I'll go do things myself now. But I think that I could listen much more, like that there is more information, that there might be something that I won't be able to figure out on my own. And so I think, yeah, Lilith in her dragon form is just like Smaug sitting there with the pile of dwarf gold inside the castle, just to just listen, just listen. You know, if he would have just taken action right away, you know, maybe he wouldn't have done so well, but he wanted to listen, like, and really listen to like what the hobbit was saying, and really listen to maybe what the dwarves might be thinking. He's just listening and like putting it all together. He's not making assumptions really. He's just taking in information, knowing that there's more information to come. And yes, like I said, albeit he was supposed to be seen as like the bad character, but the antagonist, but he was really good at listening, you know, and that's how he could spot the ego in the dwarves. He could see the ego in, you know, it wasn't Frodo, it was Bobo. There we go, Bobo Baggins. Bilbo Baggins, his uncle. So, but yeah, he was really good at just listening. He's listening for the ego. He's listening to what they're saying between their words, and he's listening to what they don't say. It's like, so yeah, I could definitely use a lot more of that. I could definitely listen more, I think. Let's see. Okay, let's look at your comments. Caitlin said, nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her earliest leaf flower, but only so an hour. So leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn comes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Thank you, Robert Frost. Susie loves the art. KDS Worker says, thank you for posting, Aurora, such a gorgeous writing. She says, you're welcome, Karen, part of my homeschooling. Angela, we actually just went over your question, the question that you had. Oh, KDS Worker is wondering if anyone has ever been on a silent retreat. I've heard of them, but I have not been on one, no. Let's see, Angela says, oh, I'll scroll back on the replay. So yeah, okay. Let's go into, oh, Caitlin's question. How do we know when we fully defeated our childhood trauma? So like a particular trauma, how would we know that we have defeated it or healed it, we should say? So how would I know? How would I know that I've healed a childhood trauma? Blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Caitlin, for the question. Also, thank you, Angela, for a previous question. Grace. I got grace as my answer. How would I know that I've fully defeated or healed a childhood trauma of mine? Because there wouldn't be such a visceral reaction to certain triggers that would surround that trauma. So yeah, if a particular trigger would come up, or anything, any emotions or anything remotely like the trauma of of my childhood, that particular trauma, let's say, I wouldn't have this like intense reaction to it of like, oh, like either I got to be quick to defend myself, or no, I have to like, you know, push it all away and create like a protective barrier around myself, or, you know, all the various ways that my ego thinks it's protecting me, or lashing out. But yeah, there wouldn't be that intensity to it. I may recognize it and be like, you know, that's something that probably would have triggered me in the past, or I can definitely see how this coming up is connected to something that happened in my past. And you know, maybe it means that I still have yet more healing to do. Maybe now we're at a deeper layer where I'm not getting triggered anymore, but now I just see it, I recognize it, and I'm like, okay, cool, all right, so it's in my reality for a reason. All right, I'll work on it, you know. So yeah, I think it's just that having less of a intense reaction would show that I'm either healed it, or I'm working on healing it at a deeper level now. Karen says, that makes so much sense, but damn, it's hard to clear. John says, I've been very aware of this recently. Excellent. That's excellent. Caitlin says, every time I think I'm past it, I get blindsided again. Dude, it's so many layers. It's like layers on layers on layers. It's like, yeah, that came up for me before where I was like, all right, yeah, for sure. Like I've gotten past that. That's like way gone. So then it's like now the situations are a lot more creative. And it's like, well, how about this aspect of the trauma? Or how about this aspect? You healed this aspect. And I'm like, no, I have not. um, John says, I like a fire rising up. Karen said, yes, ditto, like the crystals. Exactly. Exactly. There's so many facets. So many facets. You think you know a crystal inside and out, and boom, you see a rainbow where you've never seen one before, or boom, I never noticed that part inside the crystal before. It's the same with us. Okay. Lily. All right, we have Lily's question here. How can we incorporate our shadow with our higher self in a positive way? So how can I incorporate my shadow into my higher self in a positive way? All right. Immortality. Okay, let's dive into this one. Okay. So incorporating our shadow into our higher self, yes, can show us where the trauma is stemming from in this lifetime. But by incorporating it into the higher self, it can also show us how that trauma is maybe a repeated trauma in past lives. So it stems back even further than this life. And also maybe how it might also be a part of the collective consciousness, which you guys mentioned earlier. And so that way it gives it more perspective, more point of view when we view this trauma as okay, it's stemming from this in this lifetime, but also it could be connected to this and this. And now I can see how it could be connected to others, which means that I'm more cognizant in seeing that same trauma in other people because that trauma is also my trauma. And so now I know that maybe there's a different approach I can take to my healing. Obviously, we don't want to ignore it, but there's a different approach that I could take. Maybe if it was just this trauma in this lifetime, I would approach it differently than if I knew that it was a collective trauma. Then I knew that if this is a trauma that's been with me from freaking like 30 lifetimes, like let's get to the core of it. And I need to integrate it into my higher self so that my higher self can help me see that. Because that's definitely way past what my ego can see, because my ego is only responsible for me in this lifetime. It wouldn't be able to see those past lifetimes. It wouldn't be able to see the collective consciousness. So that's why I got to utilize my soul, my higher self for that. So I love it. All right, Lily, great question. This guy. Let's see. Caitlin says, like when I asked my birth family to move in, they said no. Or when I visited them for my birth father's birthday, he started yelling at me for no reason. Saying I was too opinionated, like Gran. And then, Caitlin, you also see that what they're trying to project onto you by making you feel bad is actually their own traumas, which go back and go back and go back, and just makes it so much easier. That's awesome. Katie said, God gave us friends for a reason. Keep accessing higher self and know you are not alone with family ridiculousness. Yeah. Caitlin says they have a misplaced grudge against Gran, and even though they deny it, I can't help feel they're taking it out on me, making me feel rejected. Exactly. And then that brings up your own shadows, right? Of the feelings of rejection and things like that. And it's their ego's way of trying to push their own healing onto you. Like, we don't want to heal this. I don't want to look at it. So I'd rather just blame this person for my own shadows. And so it seems like, maybe you say that they're blaming your gran, but it seems like it goes back farther than that. She's just also another person that they wanted to blame, that they wanted to cast their shadows onto. And so it's I don't know, maybe it's part of the ego program that that's what it likes to do because it doesn't really want to heal. But inadvertently, by doing that, it shows us exactly where we need to heal. So we can thank the ego program for that. Um, Angela says, your shadow is just a guide for you. Without the dark, how would we know the light? Take them by the hand, take control, and let them show you the inner stars they see. Love every part of you, even the shadows. Amen and blessed be. Yes. John said, different ripples, same pond. Exactly. Hey, Kay is here. It says, hello, Tara, and everyone here. I hope you're all well. We're doing fantastic. How are you? Yes, I agree. Long time no see. Glad you're here, says Susie. Okay. We're going into Peg's question now. Peg's question was, what is the #1 ego program we need to dissolve for the collective? So obviously there's a lot of different little programs running on, but maybe what's one of the top ones? I think that's a good question. Let's take a look at it, shall we? All right. What is the #1 ego program we need to dissolve for the collective? Memories of the forgotten self. Isn't that poignant? Wow. Kay said, hey, Susie, it's been a while, but I'm back. How are you? Caitlin said, John Harris infected all of us, my birth mother, me, and my brother, sister, without consequence. But we also have to look at how is he still a part of everybody's reality, and where did his trauma come from, and how are all these different people in the family allowing his traumas to become their traumas? So I guess we could thank him for that, while at the same time saying, thank you. Don't need you and your lessons anymore. Boop. Susan said, Kay, I'm doing okay. A lot has changed in my life. My partner George passed away last March, but I'm hanging in there. Miss him, but he is with me in spirit. Oh, yes, he is, Susie. I feel and see him around you literally all the time. George is freaking awesome. Okay, so the #1 ego program that we need to dissolve. Forgetting our true power. That's one of the top. I would say there's a bazillion ego programs and different fail safes, and it's a very sophisticated program. As we've learned, it's a very organic program as well. But yeah, probably the top one is try to get every single being, not just humans, but every single being on this planet, to give away their power, to forget their power, to forget how much they can do on their own, and especially what they can do when they bond together. When they remember that they are one, they're the all, they're infinite. We can't have them thinking that, because what would happen here if everybody knew what they could truly do, the changes they can make within themselves, within their own reality, that we could manipulate this reality? Yeah, I would say that that's a huge program. Get everybody to forget that, not remember that. Have them give their power away. Give their power away to certain religious figures. Give their power away to leaders. Give their power away to everything that they think is better than them or stronger than them. So yeah, I can see that as being a #1. Okay. Yes, Angela. Yes, for sure. You can go ahead and email me. I believe my email is down below, tara@kittensweetsandtarot.com. Karen said, also, earthly justice doesn't actually make the pain go away. This is very true. Honeybee says, that was a great question. I love the answer. Reminds me of what was said in the Anna channeling. Yes. Kay said, Susie, I'm so sorry to hear it. It is so difficult when we lose a loved one. You're in my thoughts. Lovely blessings. Katie says, John Harris may have escaped man-made justice, but even if locked up in forever jail, does that take the pain away? That is true. And Caitlin was saying the video keeps starting and stopping, so it might be, I don't know, just again, YouTube. Okay. Oh, now we have James's Dragons question. In what way have I spit my fire carelessly? So in what way have I spit my fire carelessly? Let's see, shall we? Okay, in what way have I spit my fire carelessly? And here we have the creation of lights. In what way have I spit my fire carelessly? Okay. I don't know what that is. Just made my ego cringe. But you know what? Whatever. Who cares if my ego cringes? But sometimes when people try to show me where I need to heal, because my little inner child is so all about protecting itself, the traumatized inner child, not like the light inner child, wants to protect itself, it will lash out in a way that it doesn't see the light in what the person is trying to say. It doesn't see the healing in what the person is trying to say. And maybe this came up yesterday. So I would then spit my fire carelessly. Like I am kind of what Angela has said, that we are, how do you put it? That we are spilling the blood of people that weren't the ones who cut us in the first place, or something to that effect. Angela, if you want to rewrite it, because you rewrite it so much better than I could ever say it. But basically wanting to harm the messenger, and I want to cut the messenger. I want to hurt them because I feel like they're attacking me right now, when really they're just showing me a symptom. Literally the thing that we were just talking about today in the chat came up for me too. And so, yeah, that would be a way I think that I spit my fire carelessly sometimes, is that I don't see the bigger picture, that my ego gets in the way, that I get trauma, that I get triggered so easily in the moment that I can't see what's really being shown to me or what's being gifted to me. And so I, in the end up like throwing that gift away. So, all right, that is a excellent question. Thank you, Dragon and James.
Yep. Wasn't from the ego.
So there he is. And another dragon that we can't really see in the 3D. Let's see, let's go back here. Caitlin says, it would have helped Karen knowing he wouldn't have been able to hurt anyone else, but he's dead and none of us have justice. Katie says, oh my gosh, Susie, I'm sorry for your loss. So the anniversary is approaching. Don't know I have as much healing energy as others, but sending you tons of love and support for grief work. Russ says, I saw the back of the head of a cashier who, through the window, I saw a fat red stripe going up the back of his head and punk hair. When I entered the store, he didn't have the stripe or punk hair. Why? Whoa, that's interesting. Obviously, I think your higher self is trying to show you something there. It's interesting. So a red stripe going up the back of his head and punk hair. So he didn't have punk hair or a stripe. I'll let you guys weigh in on that one. That is interesting. John says, killing the messenger makes a big point, though. Yeah. Honeybee says, I can relate to that. And just says, be the angel in someone's world. Be the flower that brings color to their day. Treat others with care to avoid being carelessly sent some, to be careless. Send some love today. Amen. And just if he's past Caitlin, I'm sure the divine will give justice. Perhaps that's why you're drawn to Lilith's strong lady who takes no gruff and stands up for women. You know what? That could be very true. That's why Caitlin has decided to embrace that Lilith energy, is because she wants to be someone who protects somebody who's been in a similar situation. She wants to stop that from happening in the future. And we know now that being able to do that is less of an outward act and more of an inward act. The more we heal on the inside, the more we see our whole world change. And we may say, oh, but I'm just one person, but you're one of an entire collective consciousness. And so whatever you do inwards affects the entire collective consciousness because you're energy and we're all energy. And so imagine if every person on the planet decided that we no longer had to fight each other, but all we had to do was go inwards and heal the thing that the other person was triggering in us. Like, it would be freaking the Garden of Eden, utopia, the Summerlands, as many Wiccans would say. Like, Katia says, Aurora, did you try to seek justice in the 3D world? And Caitlin says, I chose Lilith Vitor as my gaming name because she's the only female vampire in Sims 4. But I admit, the connection to the so-called Demon Queen is interesting. So yes, Karen, but the charges were dropped. Ah, interesting. Okay, we are on our second to last question. This comes from our friend Wasima. How can I ride the dragon with courage? Speaking of courage, how can I ride the dragon with courage? And Katia says, I work with this every single day with adults and children. ER work. Ooh, Karen, you are doing the work over there. I appreciate you. All right, Wasima's question. How can I ride the dragon with courage? Make a wish. Oh, look, we have a dragon. That's so cool. How perfect. Wow, that is perfect. Okay. Okay. All I have to do is to remember that I am the dragon. And if there are any parts of the dragon that I fear, it's just a reminder that those are parts within myself that I'm scared of. And I just have to ask myself why. If I fear the fire breathing part of a dragon, why am I afraid of opening up my throat chakra and spitting fire? Is it because I sometimes do it carelessly that I don't know how to do it with light? Or maybe I do it too much with light and I haven't been able to open up my shadow aspect? Maybe it's that, um, you know, I see dragons as having like armor around them. And maybe what is the light in that? What is the shadow in that? Why do I feel like I have to have armor around me? Why do I feel like I don't need armor around me? So I think this is cool and definitely something for me to contemplate. I am keeping all these cards off to the side so I can meditate a little bit more on these so I don't like take up all of our live chat time. But that's a great question, Wasima. I dig that one. Okay. Angela says she's a great energy, honestly. Katia says, yep, so charges dropped is failure of the justice system, not your failure. Yes. And Caitlin saying, thank you to everyone. Karen said, so your trauma is from him and the crap justice system. Wasima's like, yep. And Caitlin said, yes. Wasima says, amazing that he came. I know, right? Angela says, I wish you may and that you might fly with dragon wishes tonight to a world of art and light and love where you manifest all you need and enough to share with the world. Don't be scared, just hold on. No matter what you do, you're safe, protected, and love is true. And Wasima said, that's great. All right, we have our final question, also from our friend Lily. And she asked, what dragon medicine is being shared with us? Okay, so what dragon medicine is being shared with us right now? Let me just put this here. This little dragon just chills right there. Okay, to dance with joy. Okay, so let me tap into this one. So what dragon medicine is being shared with me right now? That if we looked at everything as if we were just in a storybook, we're always talking about our lives as being chapters. It's another chapter in my life, we might say. that if it is indeed a storybook, and let's say my storybook has been kind of a horror novel right now, but I want to turn it into a fairy tale. Or let's say it's been kind of a romance novel with its twists and turns, but I want to turn it more into adventure. You know, that the dragon is saying you can create whatever story you wish. You're never locked into one story. Maybe you've been in one story for a very long time. Maybe that's been the theme of the story, but maybe it's just been a really long chapter. But that's not how the story has to end. That's also not how the next chapter has to begin. That we have the power to change it. And we are the ones with the pen. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword. Maybe it's what they were really trying to say is we don't need the sword to try to force somebody else to write our story, to lash out at others, to, uh, cut out the pages that we don't like, but really we rewrite things. And the way we rewrite things is we go in and we heal things. The way we heal things is to have a different perspective. We have to look inwards. And so we can rewrite that story however we want to do it. And so the medicine from dragon is, sometimes in fairy tales, I'm the bad guy. Sometimes I'm the good guy. Sometimes I'm just the person on the side. Sometimes I got to be the bad guy in order to show bravery and strength and courage in others. Sometimes I'm the good guy so that I could highlight what is perceived as the bad guys. And so dragon's saying we are that in all different times. Sometimes me personally, Tara, I am the antagonist in other people's stories, but I need to be the antagonist so that they could grow, so they can write their story the way they want to. Sometimes I'm the protagonist in my own story, and that's great too. It helps me, it helps others, but no matter what role we play, that's just what it is. It's just a role. It doesn't define us. It's just a role for that chapter, and we can change it at any time. We can be whatever we want to be. So, thank you, Dragon Medicine. Lily, great question. I can dig it. All right. Woo! Let's go back here. Wasimus, a great message. Yeah, I got also stop thinking, start doing. And Caitlin said there are a few dragon cards in that deck. I think it's great. It's a beautiful deck. Caitlin says I'm deleting this channel after this because I need a break from the spiritual community. Hopefully YouTube will lift the ban next week. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if you can actually email YouTube, but I don't know. Well, hopefully they stop being whatever it is that they are. Freaking cabal social media platform. Let's see. Honeybeam says, I love the story analogy. It gives awesome insight into our wins and losses. Yeah, I mean, any story we've ever read, there had to be some sort of conflict, right? There had to be some sort of rising action. As an English teacher for a long time, I had to talk about the hero's journey. I had to kids pinpoint, what is the setting, what's the background of the characters, and what made the stories interesting was the conflict. It was this rising action. What changed the characters was that plot twist. What changed the rest of the story. It became new chapters, something completely different sometimes near the end than it was at the very beginning. The characters changed, the characters around them have changed. Some of them were just like little NPC characters. They just had to be there just to be there, to kind of like have the story make sense for sometimes the main character. And sometimes the bad guy wasn't always a bad guy, but it was the shadow self of the main character all along. So in essence, they were just battling themselves. So very cool. Angela says, I'll miss you. Yes, yes, we will. Okay, you guys. I think it's time to go into our guided meditation. What do you guys think? I'm gonna have a little tea here. Okay. Maybe I'll get us all turned around so you can. Maybe we can. Is this a good view? Maybe no. we'll go over here. You'll get this view. But maybe I'll do Oh, yeah, you're right, Susie. KDS says healing is intense. Listen to your body signs. And Russ says this is very advanced group. I couldn't think of any dragon questions. And Caitlin said, Aurora, or Angela, I'm just a different channel. I'm not leaving YouTube. You can find me on Insta and Pearl at Pearl of Purity. So yeah, Susie's right. Let's do, if anybody would like to do super chats and super stickers, I'd be more than happy to pull a card. Let's see what deck I would use. You know what? Let's go ahead and use the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. So yeah, if we want to do some super chats and super stickers, we could do the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. I'd be more than happy. And then afterwards, we'll do our guided meditation. And I think for the guided meditation, I want to, yeah, we'll go off those dragon vibes, that wood dragon vibe. Yeah, I think that would be good. So I'll let my higher self take over on that one. But here we go. Katia says, Russ, I can't understand half of what they discuss. Okay. So I'll give you guys some time. Oh, all right. So we have our buddy John. So John, if you have a question, let me know. Maybe you just want a general read from the wood dragon. Let me know. If you want a message from this guy, also let me know. So our little dragon buddy, our little silk 3D printed dragon buddy. John says, how can I use some advice from the divine feminine? All right. Excellent. Okay, so how can I use some advice from the divine feminine? All right, so let's pull that card for our buddy John. And also, hold on here. I need my little chapstick. Gotta keep my lips not dry. Okay. Message from the divine feminine for John. Divine feminine for John. We have play with me. All right. Okay, so let's tap into this one with a beautiful yak, which yaks were in my dream last night. Just so you know, I don't know why they were, but this mountain, I was protecting it from some people that were coming in, and I was telling them that people live here. That it's not just whatever they can do here. I wanted to protect the deer that I saw, and there was all these white-tailed deer, and there was mule deer, and there were yaks. So it's interesting. Okay, so let's tap in. Okay, the divine feminine said, obviously there's different energies between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The divine masculine being about logic and action and doing, whereas the divine feminine is about receiving and creating, but perhaps not yet implementing into our 3D world. And so sometimes it would behoove a lot of people and you as well, that when you tap into that divine feminine energy, sometimes it's just about creating for the sake of creating. Sometimes it's about doing things that are fun with no expectation of like, I want to become a pro at this, or, because that's the divine masculine coming in. So let's say you just have the urge to, I don't know, draw a picture, but you're not an artist. Maybe you are, but I'm saying, like, let's say you're not an artist and you're like, I just want to draw a picture. The divine masculine would come in and say, okay, what's the purpose of the picture? What are we drawing the picture for? Who are we drawing the picture for? Are we making money off of this picture? Is there like some reason that we're doing this picture? Well, then why are we wasting our time doing this picture? Whereas divine feminine saying, the purpose is to allow your energy to wander sometimes, allow it to just do its thing. And when we just allow it to open up in that way, we open up other aspects of ourself that may have been shut down, closed, or hidden because divine masculine didn't quite understand why we're doing those things, because it wants a logical reason why. Like if I'm going to, sew a purse or something, like why? Who am I making for? Am I making money off of this? Like what's the purpose? Because divine feminine's like, I just wanted to make a purse. And maybe it turned out crappy, maybe it didn't. I don't care. It was the whole point was making it. So that other areas of my life, so different energy could move and get released in the making of the product. Um, and so, yeah, that's definitely one way I think you could incorporate that divine feminine energy is just when you feel moved to do something, just do it for the sake of doing it because it's going to unblock and unlock a lot of those areas in your life spiritually, a lot of the areas in your life in the 3D world, just because you're just doing things out of the sake of doing things for my heart. I'm doing this for my heart. I'm doing this for my higher self. Does this make any logical sense? No. Is there any real action I can take from this? Probably not. But that's not the point. So, all right. Okay. All right, John. Excellent. Thank you for allowing me to pull a card for you. Let's see. Let's go back here. Ooh, Angela's saying maybe a message from the dragon. Oh, Lisa. All right. I'd like to pull a card for you. Katia says the energy fits rest, the knowledge will coalesce in good time. Susie! All right, we got to pull a card for Susie as well. John said, love it. Thank you. Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Susie. Thank you so much. Liesel, did you want me to pull a particular question or did you just want a message from the dragon? Um, maybe a general message? Give these a little shuffle, shuffle. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Liesel. And thank you to our buddy John. Have some more tea. And while I do that, there is a special channeling coming out for you guys tomorrow. This is subscriber requested. A lot of people have had some questions on space, outer space. So stay tuned tomorrow morning. We get some answers. What is outer space? That was an interesting one. Let's see. Lisa said, whatever the dragon says, please. All right. All right. Okay. Lisa, connecting to the dragon. Lisa, the dragon. Lisa, the dragon. And I don't know why I'm having the theme music of Jurassic Park in my head, but maybe, Lisa, that's for you too. Okay. Susie says, yay, love your channelings. Thank you, thank you. Okay, it says, her joy renders the impossible task possible. I guess that kind of goes on with the Jurassic Park book and movie, is that it should be impossible to bring dinosaurs back to life using dino DNA. But it seems like in the novel, it's like, wow, they were able to bring these dinosaurs back and now we can study them in different ways. So it's like almost like a miracle, right? It seems impossible to do, but it was been made possible. So let's see how what the dragon's trying to tell you with this. Let's see here. Okay, so the dragon is saying, so remember what we were talking about with stories. And you may feel like, well, there's a theme in my story that's just going to be a part of my story for as long as I live. That no matter how much I battle it, it's just a cycle. It just keeps coming back around and around. And I every time I think that I heal it or I'm good, it just keeps coming back. So there's a part of you that says, well, if I've been doing this for so long and I've been using it as a crutch or a way to heal in my own way, but really it was more a cover up. Maybe it's just going to be with me forever. But the dragon says, remember, we talked about stories. It can only stay a cycle until the end of the story if that's how you write it to be. But perhaps this has just been a very long chapter in your life. But to remember again, it's just a chapter. And just like in books and stories, that sometimes the impossible, the quote unquote impossible happens. You know, maybe in like Return to Neverland, Peter relearns how to fly. He learns that, you know, he was Peter Pan all along, you know, that he can fly. And that seems impossible. Or that, you know, the bad guy can be made good, has been, you know, what's happened in many stories. Or that somebody was able to spin yarn into gold. These things seem impossible, but yet they're written into stories. And that means that we can also write in the impossible into our stories at any time because it's our story. We are the master, we are the author of that story. And if I choose that maybe this cycle is going to be with me for a really long chapter, and then, you know what, I just write it out. And here's how I write it out. Here's what the main character did. She did this, and then she did this. Ooh, and then she realized, oh, we'll put in a little plot twist that this is where the cycle was really coming from. And then maybe, I don't know, we'll put in some fun stuff in there that the arch nemesis was really something that only she could see and that she had to defeat it, but it was something within herself. And then she realized the arch nemesis was actually her friend. Trying to help her to heal at the deepest level. And then she's turned her story around. So the dragon's like, don't forget, you hold the pen. You've always held the pen. And yes, I know you like swords, but the pen is mightier than the sword. All right. Let's see. Let's go back here. Russ says, thank you, KDS Worker, for the boost. Honeybee says, I'm so excited to hear about space. I was thinking about the moon landing. Did it really happen? Oh my gosh. That's what we were thinking about for the next channeling, because we've had a few subscribers ask us about that too. Like, let's talk about the moon. Because although we did channel the moon, we never channeled the moon landing. That'll be interesting to learn about. Um, Susie said, Lisa, sending you hugs, chica. Caitlin said, Alana Fairchild's Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. I have just the normal Kuan Yin, but I do have my eye on the wild. Ah. Lisa says, enter the dragon. Thanks, babe. Very nice. All righty. You know what? I can't help it. I feel I have to pull a card for Lisa or Susie. I really want to. I just want to. Okay. This will just be, we'll do a dragon message. We'll do a dragon message for Susie. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card this way. Sometimes I don't like to shuffle them. Sometimes I just, like when my hands are really cold and I have my deck like underneath the covers, I can't really shuffle them. So I just spread them out until my finger hits a card that it feels is the right card for Susie. We got our card. Lady of the Lhasa descends. Ooh, I love this one. Angela said, this is amazing. Love you all. You're amazing people. Okay, so let's see what the dragon has for Susie. Lady of Lhasa descends. That's cool. The dragon says that you can, you know, as we were talking to Lisa about the different chapters, that you know that we all hold the pen. We're all the writers of our next chapter, of the next paragraph of what we do next. Um, and this is about seeing all the various chapters that you've had in your life, all the different aspects of you that you've been, you know, that there have been good times and hard times and excellent times and sometimes neutral times where, you know, things aren't really happening. Um, but to see them all those pieces of you as friends on your journey, and that you're getting to a point where you've, and this has nothing to do with age, but this kind of wisdom where you start to see like the little girl you and the teenage you and the early 20s you as being more partners on your journey than something that you cling to identify with in the present moment. So 5-year-old Susie, it's like, or little Susan, she was cute. And you know, sometimes she's still here with me and I'm glad she's still accompanying me. Or, you know what, 18-year-old Susie, you know, she's still here with me, but it's not that I am 18-year-old Susie or I am 5-year-old Susie or, you know, 30-year-old Susie or whatever it may be. They're just people who are with me on my journey. And they're still here to talk to me. They're still to help me write my next chapter, but I don't identify as any one of them anymore because I'm always me. I'm just me. And who is me? Me is the one in the present moment, the one that is always evolving. And so I'm constantly changing. So I can't say that I'm always forever this person or this person or that person. You know, they're just different parts of the story, different characters in the story. So I dig that. Thank you, Dragon, for coming in for Susie. Um, and let's see, we have Kendra here. Hello, hello. KDS says, so wait. Uh, Tara sees the picture and reads from it as opposed to what the booklet is saying. What is what? Yes, exactly. I am an intuitive reader. So, what I use the cards for is just a permission slip to access different parts of my intuition. So, I don't need the cards, and nobody really needs things because we're all spirit, we're all intuitive. But sometimes people feel more comfortable accessing their intuition through runes, through cards. And so I let the image on the card kind of access a part of my intuition that needs to speak. So maybe what the author of the deck had intended, like for a certain card, may be different than what I have, but their higher self is seeing it from a different perspective than I do. And you know, and I think that the messages are good no matter who's reading them. So some people might be using them from a booklet, and that might help them for a time until they feel like, you know what, I don't need the booklet anymore. I feel like I can trust my intuition a little bit more. And so, you know, that's good too. So I would consider myself an intuitive reader. KDS says, Susie and I are both close to 52, the Mayan Mag Daddy age of wisdom. Yes, yes. um, she says, humans are not monolithic. Yep. Kindred saying hello. You're very welcome, Susie. Angela saying hugs and love for everyone. All right. Well, is that all our super chats and super stickers for today? If so, we'll dive into that channeled guided meditation. So, like I said, I want it to be something about that wood dragon energy, the Lunar New Year, but I'll let my intuition take over and do what it do. And while we're just kind of getting ourselves ready, I would say that at the very beginning, when I was like um, accessing my intuition, which would be as a kid, I was afraid of my intuition because, well, nobody really spoke of intuition and, you know, I didn't understand it. It's not like there were really anything being taught about it in school. So it's something that I feared. And then as I got older and I wanted to get into tarot cards, um, I thought that the cards were the things that held all the power, you know, that it was something outside of myself. I thought, ooh, the cards tell me something. So in that case, I wanted to read all about them. I wanted to read about, the Rider-Waite system. I wanted to read about different card systems. Because that's how I was taught in school, right? That if you want to learn more about something, you go get a book, you go read about it. Um, and so I read all these books, and then at some point, I felt comfortable in my intuition that was coming forward, because sometimes I was getting these feelings that what was coming forward from the card wasn't really aligning with the book meaning anymore. And that's when I kind of realized I guess I don't really need the book. I started trusting my own intuition. And so that's then from then on, that's kind of how I read cards. And then at some point, I realized, well, if my intuition is always giving me messages, then I don't really need the cards anymore. So even though I have all these different modalities that I work with, like reading seashells and reading bones and cards, it's just a fun way for me to access my intuition. Of course, knowing that I do that anyways, that's how we do these channelings. And it's ways you guys can do it too. You're all intuitive, you all have spirit. So your spirit knows all, it has access to all information at all times. And it's just, how are you comfortable in accessing that information? Some people want to use cards, some people want to use runes, some people want to scry the clouds or scry into a mirror. um, it's just whatever way is comfortable for you in your journey. So some people want to continue, reading the book version, and that's completely fine. It's just, where are you on your journey and in trusting your intuition? That's my point of view. Let's see here. Everybody's sending hugs. Caitlin said, I realized when I noticed my Lilith channel was blocked, my last message from that channel that was readable was when I was talking about Nurse Prudence. The message after that was gone. Interesting. Karen said, yeah, I don't want to read a book. I always embraced intuition, and the book seems super sterile. Yeah, sometimes that is true. Caitlin said, I was trying to tell Karen how to spell Kaban at the same time as Susie did. Nice. Johnson Clouds this morning said, go with the flow. And Angela said, cat vibes. All right. So let's get into this guided meditation. I'm going to turn this around so you have a beautiful view. You guys start getting ready. Get yourselves nice and cozy. Okay, let me flip this here. All right. You know what? Let's stare at Honest Tree. There we go. So we have Honest Tree right here. Beautiful white mountains. We got Sholo down that way. Okay, so I'm gonna have my tea. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable space. You could be indoors and outdoors. You could be hanging out with the little birdies right now, sitting under a tree. Maybe you're in the grass. Maybe you have a little pillow you like to sit on. Or maybe you just want to lay down in bed. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. And as you get yourself situated, start bringing your awareness to your breath. I know that we've always got a lot on our minds, so much that we're thinking about. But as we know, thoughts are energy, and those thoughts will be waiting for us in the meantime while we do our meditation. So we put those thoughts aside for just the next several minutes. And all we are worried about at this moment is the breath. Feel it come in and go out. How does your breath feel today? Does it feel easy to breathe? Are you feeling it stopped up in a particular place? Do you feel choked sometimes on the breath in the throat? We're just noticing, not placing any judgment, No need to think about it. Just where do I feel my breath? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it soft? Do I feel my breath in my belly? Where? How? Continue breathing. And what I want you to do is to visualize yourself at the top of a snowy mountain. Perhaps you've been in the snow, perhaps you've never seen the snow. But visualize it as best as you can. Is there a gentle breeze? Does the snow crunch beneath your feet? Is it chilly? Is it warm? Do you hear birds? Is the sun out or is it cloudy? Try to visualize as best you can. And as you walk around this beautiful, silent, still, snowy mountain, we come across an elaborate mirror. This is a full-length mirror. Has beautiful gilded edging, ornate, as if the artist took their time etching images of dragons in the gold that surrounds this mirror. And you walk up to the mirror and you can see yourself fully. You can see your entire background. You can even see the snow beneath your feet. It is your full image. And as you stare into this mirror and look yourself in the eye, you notice that another image of you steps into the picture from your right. And as you look away from the mirror and look to your right, you don't see her there. But he's there. And you look back into the mirror and you can clearly see that person again, that person that is you. And as you continue to look at this other you, as well as looking at yourself in the eye, another version of you steps into the picture from your left. And you again look away from the mirror and you see no one there. That person is not there. But you look back into the mirror and you can see them as clear as day. Two versions of you, one on your right and one on your left. They are you, dressed exactly like you, the same color eyes, the same way that you do your hair. But you notice that something is slightly different about my image on my right and my image on my left. And you realize that these images are your light and dark aspect. Neither of them is considered better than the other. But there you are, in the middle of your lightness and your darkness. And in this space, as we look at the mirror, we can ask questions of ourselves. In what way have I hid my light? Ask the light version of you. In what way have I been scared of my light? In what way have I feared showing my light? Why have I feared showing my light? You can ask as many questions as you wish. And your light version will always have the answer. And now perhaps we look at the person to our left, our darker aspect. And again, ask him or her, why do I fear my darkness? Why do I run away from it sometimes? Why do sometimes I feel that I am only darkness? Maybe why do I wish to hide my darkness from others? What am I afraid they'll see? What am I afraid to see in myself? And allow your darkness to speak. Understand that you always have these two halves within you, your light and your dark. One not need be conquered over the other, but merely understood. And if you can understand the intentions and the reasoning behind your light and your dark, you'll be more capable after this meditation in understanding why we do certain things. Is this my darkness? Is this my lightness? Am I walking a middle path between the two? And we do not shun either one, for to shun an aspect of the self is to deny myself completely. When you have finished asking your questions, thank and embrace as best you can the image to the right and the image to the left. Show them gratitude and show them love. Thank them for showing you where your darkness resides and why it's there, where your light resides and why it's there. And when you're ready, go ahead and step away from the beautiful dragon mirror at the top of the snowy mountain and return home. And when you feel called, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes as you bring your consciousness back to the present. You can have yourself a little stretch and open your eyes. Happy Lunar New Year. Alrighty. Let's go back here. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for all of the healing today. Thank you for the vulnerability, for showing up and helping ourselves, helping others, for opening your hearts, for helping us with the dragon spread, which I will make sure that sometime this week I will post that to social media so that other people can access what you guys came up with today. Yeah, you guys are amazeballs. Thank you for all the people allowed me to read for them, super chats and super stickers, for all of my YouTube members, for all of my Patreon subscribers, live chat homies. Like, thank you. Katia says, we've come so far. Please let's build the momentum. Yes. John said, love, blessed be. All right. All righty. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you next Sunday. Yeah, and make sure you guys stay tuned for that channeling video that is coming out tomorrow. Space, is it the final frontier? I don't know. Well, I think you guys will dig it, and I think you'll really like the entity that we talked to. I think you already know her. So anyway, talk to you guys next week. Love y'all. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Mwah. Peace out. Bye.